you dig it? Can you dig it?
Ladies, gentlemen, friends, foes, lurkers, regulars, GMO people, organic people.
Boiler room. Inbound. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and goblins. It is the Boiler Room coming back at you live here on Rumble, on YouTube, on X, and heading out to those audio podcast streams. Our website is Alternate Current Radio. Thank you for joining us tonight for this live broadcast of Boiler Room. It is Halloween night. How spooky is it out there where you are? I don't know. It's pretty spooky over here. I was thinking, about the old days, right? Remember the old days on the internet? So for you kids out there, if you're I don't know like 26 and younger or something like that, you may not remember the wild west of the internet. Some of you may not have even been there for the wild west of the internet. It was a spooky place, kind of. Remember this? Yeah. You gotta wait. Oh, we're getting closer. Guess what? You're on the internet now. You're on the internet. Isn't that cool? And you've got a whole 14 baud, 28 baud coming down. You know what a baud is, kids? Maybe not. Gigabytes and terabytes and petaflops and all that good stuff. But we used to have baud. So back when the internet was a wild frontier, we had a lot of fun there. Yes, it was slow. Yes, the machines were slow. But you know what? We had forums. We had games, right? We had Doom and Wolfenstein 3D, and we go even further back than that, get into Oregon Trail and all these weird floppy disk oriented games we used to put in the old machines and stuff. But the internet came along and there was no algorithms. Well, there were little algorithms inside the softwares and the networking stacks and all that stuff, but there weren't algorithms that were designed to change you, right? It was the beginning of functionality. The web used to have corners where you could wander anonymously, anonymous threads, weird subforums, right? Remember all the weird subforums and message boards? And today, like ghosts, much of that has vanished or been zombified, consumed, had vampiric succubi change it and replace it with platforms and algorithms. So here we are in 2025, Halloween 2025, and I've been thinking about the ghosts of the old internet. So tonight we're having a digital seance. We're summoning the ghosts of the internet, and maybe we can see where we came from, where we're at, where we're going in Boiler Room style here tonight. For example, there's been a lot of talk over the last few years. People have written articles and stuff about it. Why are we all so obsessed with early web nostalgia and just nostalgia in general? I mean, the internet of the late 1990s and early 2000s did have the character of an informal wild, wild west. Like-minded people were still able to gather in forums. We didn't all have to crowd into X. We didn't all have to crowd into Facebook. We didn't all have to crowd into a particular platform that was owned by a technocrat. No, 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 no. We just had, those are like cul-de-sacs, right? Are the cul-de-sacs, or they're like tsunamis you can ride at this point, I guess. You surf a tsunami on X, or get stuck in a cul-de-sac on X. But back in the old days, we had the spots. We had all the places. Like-minded people knew how to find each other. Find each other on ICQ chat. They'd find each other in threaded discussion forums. And that was the beginning of the development of the biggest knowledge management system on the planet, the overall internet, the World Wide Web. And now what do we have? Well, now we have a juiced up, souped up, sexed up interweb. That's for sure. It moves fast. It throws 4 and 8K streaming video. Don't get us started on what's probably going on the pornography. Holy cow, that whole industry. Think about that and compare it to the late 90s internet. Woo! Oh man, I'm sure some people out there with prawn addictions could write some dissertations for us, but we won't go there. It's just yet another benchmark in how different the internet is now. But you've got video calls. People don't even go to work anymore, man. They work from home in front of a Zoom or whatever. So we're going to see if we can summon in Séance here tonight some of that early interweb, wild, wild west spirit with the team. So thanks for being here with us. Shouts out to everybody in the chats. I don't know if I'm going to be able to follow them very well tonight. I got a lot going on, but I'll try. Let's welcome, we've got our first guest here, Paul. His name is Paul. Last name Etition. So Mr. Etition, Paul, joining us now. Paul, what's going on? Welcome to the Boiler Room.
Yes, I am Paul Etition. I am the cousin of Batson de Belfry and No Agenda and all my good friends across cyberspace and in real space and many others. But I like the way you're approaching this. There is a bit of nostalgia for the sound of the when you went on board the internet with your Yahoo or with your AOL, America Online. It almost sounds like you're talking about the 1920s or something. And
right?
Yeah, it was a much more informal, less structured, less hectic, less surveilled cyberscape. And while you can get advantages from the way it's done now, you mentioned working from home. It's nice to have the option of working from home. Maybe you don't want a car, or maybe you don't want to put too much commuting miles on your car, even if you have one. And, that's a little less stress in that sense. And so it's not all bad, but the monopolists got their hands on it and carved up their cooperative pie. I get this part, you get that part. I'm X and you're Facebook or you're Meta now. And they each got their big pieces of the overall pie. And then they kind of corral us. If you don't want to go on X, you got to go, you got to use their stuff somehow, some way. And, is that a free enterprise system? In other words, if there's 3 or 4 companies that kind of own the cyberscape and you got to be in one pen or another, and they may act like they're ostensibly competitors or at least distinct choices when they're, when the head of one company and the head of another one of those companies meets at Bilderberg, then they're not really competitors. They're part of a cyber cartel. And so, eventually you got your Wild West and then the guys that own most of the land and the biggest ranches, they tend to control that town in the Wild West, and eventually the town gets settled, and the big land barons and cattle barons take over that Wild West town, and eventually the average person is a landless serf. So we're like serfs in cyberland, basically. We've been reduced to serfdom. And so one question, other than these sundry miscellaneous benefits that we can still get from the system, one question is, can any of this be recreated? Is there a way to recreate some of the smaller nooks and crannies and smaller chat rooms and meetup places? Is there a way of doing that, of establishing a foothold? Or are these companies like land barons, and as soon as you go through their fence, the sensor goes off and they come riding up to you on horseback and hog tie you and take you away? And I'm using a kind of a Wild West metaphor. In other words, can we own land here or not?
Good question. I mean, ask the retired person who bought their house in 1987 and is living strictly on Social Security now while their property taxes are going up. Like, do you? Can you? What happens if there's a financial meltdown? So yeah, that's some spooky horror stuff right there. Paul petition. Paul, let me bring Mystical Pharaoh aboard here next. See if he's riding in on some spooky sounds or something, maybe. Oh. There he is. What's up, dude?
What's going on, man?
Something just landed.
Good to see you, Pharaoh. How's it going, man?
It's going good. It's going good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I see you are the ghost of internet yet to come, and I am
Yeah.
the ghost of internet past.
I know. This is the ghost that I'm scared of the most.
Yeah, me
I
too.
fear
That
the
one's
most.
that one's really scary. I feel nostalgic for the ghost of internet past.
I stand in front of you humbled.
Whew,
You ghost
all
of the internet yet to come.
Yeah, talk about scary. All right, Mystical Pharaoh's bringing the spooky right away today. Holy moly. I knew that was going to be the case when the Pharaoh dropped in. All right, let's see if we can get a Ruckustein among us here. Looks like we got Ruckus joining. What's up, Ruckus?
Ruckus Stein.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I had something in my throat there. Yeah, howdy, everybody. Happy Halloween, etc., etc. Normally, I don't celebrate the holiday, but, I decided to finally get into the spirit, as it were. You guys would have loved my costume. It was a huge hit. Check it out. What do you think? Yeah? Pretty cool, huh? Skateboarding accident. Yeah, no, skateboarding accidents are no jokes, kids. So please wear a helmet and pads when you're out there skateboarding and trick-or-treating, depending on which neighborhood you live in. Right, Hesher? Because holy moly, some people are nuts and they don't protect their neighborhoods by closing the streets. Luckily, our neighborhood does that, so the kids are nice and safe over here in Central Texas. I don't know what's the poor kids got to do in, say, like Chicago, dodging bullets for Kit Kat bars, but yeah, maybe the National Guard. Oh wait, that's not the National Guard. Well, you get the idea. Maybe somebody like them will show up and help keep everybody safe. Hopefully. I mean, I've not heard of any reports yet from some of the larger Democrat-run, frightening cities. So it is what it is. Man, lots of fun stuff to talk about tonight. I know I'm going to be very tongue-in-cheeky. But it is what it is. But thanks for having me. Man, Halloween, Boiler Room. Has Boiler Room ever been on a Halloween before, Hesher?
I do believe this may have happened one other time, but I'm not exactly sure because sometimes we'll make a spooky Boiler Room the day before, the day after, whatever. But yeah, we made sure of it this week. That's why we bumped the show to Friday. That and a couple practical reasons, but yeah, it worked out really good because we're able to have Mark. Normally on Fridays, Mark does UK columns. So if we have him on Thursday nights, it's like we're dragging him over the coals right before he's got to get up early and go to work on UK time, by the way.
Yes, it's merciless. Absolutely merciless.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so we've got our little digital internet seance going here. We're summoning the ghosts of the internet tonight. Of course, we got the you got to have a one of those, right? Anybody know the name of that instrument?
A theremin.
There you
Theremin?
go. There you go.
I
Ruckus with the
thought it was
quick
Jimi
draw.
Hendrix.
I'm pretty sure that was a theremin, right?
Yep, you are correct, sir. It is the theremin. One of my favorite horror movie sound effect makers, actually.
You'd be
So
hard pressed to find it used in any other circumstance, to be honest.
yeah, really, I know. So let's start by talking about the places we've left behind. Anything that's dead or dying on the internet. I could think of a number of examples, but I'm going to go to Ruckenstein first here. Ruckus, anything like what I was saying on the way in, and the idea of things that we've kind of left behind on the internet? Anything stand out to you personally?
Well, the whole time you were saying that, my mind went in a different direction for a second. I couldn't help it because there's a lot of talk of something called the dead internet theory,
Yep.
and it is kind of semi-related in a way, because now the internet is being haunted by a different sort of ghosts, as it were. Um, I'm sure most of the listeners and viewers might be familiar already with this concept, but the idea is that the vast majority, nay, probably all of the internet is just fake recycled crap, and there's like no humans actually contributing to actual content on the internet. Some theorists say they pick a date and they say, well, this was the day that the internet died or whatever. But now you look at it, and anyone who's had any personal experience using these chat GPTs or LLM models realize, first of all, you should realize that it's an LLM. So it's a large language model, and it's been trained on, allegedly, on our data. But when you throw in the concept of this idea that a lot of the stuff that is being trained on is this it's dead internet. I mean, so if you're training an AI language learning model on a bunch of dead data, what you're ultimately training is an undead AI, like a zombie AI of sorts. But these zombie AIs go out and infect the other AIs and zombify them, because the AIs are now training themselves openly on information that was so that when they go to one of these news article sources, allegedly, it's reading an article that was written by ChatGPT. At what point is the source data? Where's the source data? Where's patient zero? Where's the humanity left in this equation? All I see are a bunch of AI zombies, digital ghosts, fake news, distant like echoes of past memories of any real information, and then whatever happened when they shut down the web archive for like a month. God only knows what information they changed. Sometimes I feel, Hesher, like when we're interacting with the whole thing and we're using this mouse and we're moving it around on our little mouse pad, it reminds me very strongly of moving around a Ouija board. So there's a lot of things on my mind when it comes to the internet and spiritual things and Halloween and spooky, all this and that. So that's pretty much where I'm at with all of that stuff.
Well, Ruckus, lucky for you, the day of the Ouija board mouse is coming to an end, and we will instead commune with the spirit, right? The ubiquitous voice coming from the phone or the wall. So yeah, don't worry about that little Ouija board puck anymore, because we've summoned the spirits. The spirits are here. They live in our phones. Some of them are misbehaving and being very bad this year. I'm not going to name any names, but there are definitely some digital devices in our circles that are being very ghosty, very demon-esque this particular holiday.
Sometimes those devices act like that movie Scanners. Remember, Hesher?
Yeah.
Boom, boom. No, I'm just kidding.
Cronenberg. Yeah, definitely. Let me go to Paul.
Cronenberg beeper. There you go.
Right. Let me go to Paul Etition here. What do you think? Any history places we've maybe left behind? You know what I mean? Old lost spaces, or just things that you remember about the older days of the interwebs?
Well, it's moving so fast that one thing that comes to mind is that even recent changes, like the way Yahoo email works now, I like it better on my phone than on any computer. The way it is now, you see 3 or 4 listings, and as you go to each listing, it shows you what's on that listing. I don't want that. I just want to see the whole listing top to bottom, and then I only want to see what's on there if I actually choose to open it. It because all you're seeing is 3 or 4 things, and then each time you hit a line item, it opens it up, and so you never see the complete list. And then you used to be able to get the old Yahoo back and to go to the original Yahoo email, and they got
Yeah.
rid of that.
Yeah.
Those bastards.
I know, and it's owned by AT&T now, I think, too, right? So like it's basically just a big corporate merger between Yahoo and AT&T, and yeah, I have some experience with their email platform over the years, and it used to be good, back in the day, just like their search engine and all that. Remember the Yahoo search engine? Does anyone go to Yahoo to search anything? I guess some people, when they do their email, there's still a little search window up there, but for a primary search place, I don't think many people under a certain age are using that as their search engine, if they're even using a search engine at all. I mean, that would be another thing that is now turning into a ghost town, would be the search engines, right? Everybody's moving to AIs, and I can't blame them. I had a issue with the stereo again the other night, making some changes, and I had a bad signal coming out of it, and I know I could have fixed it with old school internet canoodling, but instead I asked one of the AIs, and I had it fixed within, I don't know, 3 minutes or something like that, whereas it probably would have taken me an hour to sort through all the old forums and stuff like that.
Yeah, the even and I had America Online at one time, and I don't know. I just liked email better longer ago. The way it works now, they keep trying to make it so sophisticated, like overly sophisticated. They overthink it. A lot of things are just too dense, too overthought. Most of us like a relative simplicity of things. I mean, in the final analysis, we've got to keep one oar in the waters of analog. Like Joe Walsh saying, I'm an analog man in a digital world, and thousands of channels on my TV, and nothing is on. And I'm with Joe at least part of the way on that. We need to keep books in our world and newspapers. It's one thing to change. It's another thing as to the pace of change. When the pace of change is so fast that there's no time for adaptation or reflection, that's when we go off the rails. If you don't have adaptation, then as soon as you're getting used to one iPhone or one modality or app or software, the next thing you know, there's 10,000 other versions, and your feet are never on the ground anymore, and you're being swept along. You're not the one who's moving, you're being moved. You're not walking, you're being shoved, and you're being shoved hard. And we're not moving by our own volition here.
No, we're in a torrent of feedback loops, a torrential feedback loop assault.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't appreciate it, and all these billionaires or front men acting like they're billionaires, whatever they are, just, I mean, two simple words: pound sand.
Yeah,
Nobody
exactly.
cares about you or your company. Nobody,
Mhm,
ever.
mhm.
And they won't ever care.
Yeah.
The
Um,
investors care, Mark.
the investors, schmesters. Yeah, they do. You're right. Here's one for me. One thing that I sort of missed that has gone away was the early online gaming, like the very early versions of it, where you could first start texting between people. I mean, I know that like Xbox and Steam and all these, they have arguably, much better systems now for letting people keep in touch, and people have gone off and used their own things to, tie different things together. Like they'll use the Discord server for the community and playing and all that. But I miss the good old days of, like, when Xbox Live very first came out, and it's like if you would play with someone on there, it'd be like you were almost immediately friends because there were so few people on it. And it was a great way to, like, meet people in other places and do something in common, and the same could be said for a lot of online games, just browser based games, people playing just very simple old school, like, low end graphic versions of whatever, cards or Minesweeper or whatever. Like, people used to have a lot of fun with stuff like that. And I don't know, now it's just like this giant freaking mosh pit. I mean, if you're in, a major Steam game or whatever cross platform game, you know what I'm talking about. It's crazy. So I kind of miss that stuff. What about you, Mystical Pharaoh? Any thoughts on maybe places we've left behind, or like the differences in I don't know, like how people gather? There used to be like very different fan communities and niche communities and all that stuff, and it's just so different now. What do you think, man?
Here, I'm gonna play sound and tell me if you guys remember where this is from, or anybody knows where this is from.
Oh, yes. That was your AOL Messenger.
Nope.
No? Your Yahoo Mail News.
No. Let me play it again.
Well, that's like hearing one note and deciding what.
I used to hear it all the time.
ICQ.
Thank you. Okay. That's why I know it.
It's where I spent my 90s, late 90s
Me too,
on
dude.
ICQ.
I used ICQ for a long time. I think I had a 5 or 10 digit number before they went into like the millions or something like that. ICQ was, that was revolutionary. Now we think
it was, dude.
Like DMs and IMs and all that stuff, like no big deal. Every single thing has a DM factor on it. But when ICQ and that one that it was based on before it hit and started being usable by everybody, like, that was huge. That was before a lot of people had the ability to text too, in some cases.
Yeah, because like before ICQ or around the same time, there was like MIRC.
Yeah, Merc.
Yes,
Yep,
yeah,
MIRC.
Merc,
We should
right?
probably explain this to people that don't know. So ICQ was basically a like a end-to-end messaging application, and you would just type text in a box, like think Skype or Teams or whatever. But yeah, it was based on MIRC. IRC was sort of the beginning of that piece of technology, and that was something that came out of the military, actually. I think at least last I heard, the military was still using IRC chat in some cases. Maybe that's gone away.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I remember that first my first like long distance date was through ICQ.
No way.
I started talking to an American girl that lived in Michigan when I was still in Egypt, and we're in online relation for like a year or so. Was back in the days.
Wow, man. Late 90s. What a time.
Late 90s.
The naughties.
But yeah, it's just, honestly, like, the things I miss the most, that internet was not there all the time. I actually had to make a conscious effort to go online, right?
Yeah.
That shit was not surrounding me all the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time I was living in my real life, and when I wanted to go to the internet to be in one of those lesbian MIRC chat, acting as a lesbian,
Yeah.
right, to hit on lesbian chicks.
Anonymity was the bomb.
As we all do.
Okay, Stifler.
No, but in all seriousness, I think, kids nowadays, they don't know the meaning of actually, and that line is going to blur more and more, right? Of what is real versus what's online, right? And you can see that already, right? people
Right.
living on the internet 24/7, right? Back in the days, actually, it costed money to go online
And you had to, and time. Think about the
and time,
time.
on
Holy
time, right?
cow. I mean,
And when I was in the internet, I could not use the phone, so my dad had to keep bugging me, get the fuck out of the internet because I need to use my home phone.
yeah, that's the other thing.
Those were the days.
Oh,
But anyway, this is a point is I think there was less connectivity, but the connectivity was meaningful in a sense of it was something different, right? You actually had not everything was blending together.
yeah.
And I think I miss this the most. I miss the fact that I could disconnect. I did not have my freaking email with me. You guys posted some Nokias, right? I used to have my old Nokia phone, right?
Yep.
That's the maximum I can do was those brackets and with the Y's in the middle, right? And you just go online and just to chat with whoever your friends or whatever, do whatever, and then you just disconnect and you just go back to your real life. So those were, I think
Yeah.
this is what I miss the most, I would say.
That's good stuff. Sage in the chat says Infocom games, baby. They were the shit, right? Remember that?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's
Zork.
right. Yep. Timmer's got the Nanix there, the little tiny like Game Boy looking thingy. And Crease makes a good point. You could actually meet people in real life from forums. Now, maybe, but probably not. Like, is that even a good idea now? But back then, like, you didn't like this was before like people were getting catfished and psychopaths knew that the internet was a great place to express their psychopathy, all that kind of stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's always been predators and stuff like
Or
that.
created it.
Yeah, exactly. Not like we're living in right now. Sage again, I lived on bulletin boards. Yeah, those bulletin boards were crazy. Like you could learn, I mean, think Reddit. Like, okay, so bulletin board, I would say, where did the bulletin boards go? They're still out there. They're just ghost towns now, right? They're ghosty ghost towns. But yeah, those bulletin boards were awesome. You could go find all kind of stuff. Reddit basically kind of serves that purpose now, I suppose, but it's a toxic waste dump. Oh yeah. Art Bell ICQ. There you go, Timmer. Yeah, the old Art Bell days in the late 90s on internet. That's one thing that another thing that I miss that's kind of gone now is like it used to be pretty special to find an embedded real audio player. You know what I mean? And it was like mind-blowing to me that, somebody with a home computer basically, it was still kind of wizardry to me at that point in the late 90s and early 2000s, like how they were doing that. But I think back to some of those old shows that were embedded in those real players and stuff like that, like Art Bell used to use and all that stuff. I even got way into those. I was learning to embed those. I was putting them on websites when I was doing my computer degree and between 94 and 97, I guess, at least that aspect of my degree. Had a great time with it. Really loved that technology. And now it's just completely ubiquitous. It's totally better. I can't sit here and say, oh, those real players were so great. It's amazing the jumps we've made in just audio quality. And then we start talking video and it's just like, holy crap, how are we doing
Yeah,
this?
I remember when like the actually high the 128 megabits like MP3s came out after the raw files, right? Where the audio was so shitty, and that was just game changer, man.
Yeah, we were making mixed CDs, baby, on our own. It was just like, oh, we are digital men and women in the new digital world. Holy crap! I can go to Costco and buy a
What was the
CD writer.
generic audio file that Windows made? It's just called a WMA or something, right?
WMA, yeah.
Yeah, which was like their take on a wave, right? It was WAV files. They wrap in a WMA.
Yeah.
Wave shit too. Damn.
Yeah, wave, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really and the funny thing is that was not that long time ago.
No.
That was not long time ago. I even like in the late 2000s, right? The technology jump after or just the embedding of everything after the iPhone came out, like in 2008, was just insane.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Um,
another really recent one is the change from Skype to Teams.
Mm-hmm.
Not that Skype was all that great, but one thing you could do on Skype is you could make a Skype call. Hell, you could call the Kremlin if you wanted to. And I don't think Teams even has that function. Now, I haven't used it much. Maybe if you worm around through it, you'll find something. I don't think so, though.
no,
Do
you
you
can't
happen
do
to know,
that. You
Hash?
can't do that on Teams now.
You cannot?
No.
Yeah, see, you'll notice that they actually reduced the ability of the system when they switched from Skype to Teams. Skype had plenty of problems, but the fact that you could register a little credit in there and make a phone call, not with a phone, but with Skype, essentially anywhere in the world was a pretty powerful thing. I used to call government offices in Europe and say, "Hey, do you know where Bilderberg is?" Because the cell phone I had at the time, probably I probably couldn't gracefully call that European location. And then, once I got looking at Teams, I thought, man, this is just completely inferior, at least in some respects. And that was a big loss. I mean, that is a demonstrable loss of function where they made a change, and it demonstrates that when they say change does not, I repeat, not mean better, and that is an unambiguous change for the worse.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And it's
Was,
also
hey, was Skype its own independent company before Microsoft acquired it
yes.
originally?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
That's what I
purchased
thought.
it.
Here we go again. The cattle barons come in and they raid the town. They drive everyone out, and then it becomes part of their land. And Hesh, you used a great metaphor a little bit ago. What those little chat rooms and everything we used to like on the old internet are like abandoned ghost towns where there's an old sign just swaying in the wind, and that's all that's left. Here's Global Gulch.
Yeah.
Here you go. MySpace. Thank you, Creative Accent. That was also a blast in the past.
Oh,
MySpace
dude.
and like actually art on MySpace. Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to follow a lot of like music people on MySpace.
I was
Yeah.
friends with Tom.
I was too. We were close. We were tight. Yeah, let's talk about early social media for a second. But before we do, I want to underline what Mystical Pharaoh was talking about, because it's like that slower pace. I mean, especially for you young people out there. I mean, like you, like the rest of us, have a question, boom, GPT, boom, search it, whatever. Need to take a flight, boom, got that availability. Out hiking and with a friend and trying to identify a bug or a flower, boom, take it out and take a picture of it, and AI will tell you what it is and everything you want to know about it. Well, in the times Mystical Pharaoh was talking about in the late 90s, we had internet, right? But if we were in any one of those situations I mentioned, you would not know. You would have to, number one, remember that you wanted to search that when you got home on your computer, drive home or walk home or skateboard home or whatever, say hi to the dogs, wash your hands, go to the bathroom, have a snack, wait for your computer time, sit down at your computer, and you're going to ask the question, right? No.
Yeah.
I'll get a drink of water while I wait for the internet to connect. Shit, I forgot what I was going to ask the search browser. It took so long to get online. Like, that's literally the kind of thing you would have to go through. And like Pharaoh was saying, sometimes you get home and mom or dad or brother or sister be on the phone, and you'd be like, get off the phone. I gotta, search XYZ. And it's just, so this whole thing that we're living in right now is night and day different. You had a slow pace with your technology. You weren't checking your email all day, every day. Threaded discussions in those old days were literally threaded. They were easy to understand. They had little lines in them and everything. They had dates and times on them. And then there was none of this like most relevant first, or so and so has been shadow banned. I wonder if they're going to show up in the threaded discussion. None of that. None of that. It was all
Just
there.
raw data, and you just
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
non
That's why
manipulated raw data.
Wild, Wild West. And there was the anonymity, the guaranteed anonymity
Mhm.
pretty much back then. It was great. So what happened to all them? What happened to all that? But anyways, there's the matter of social media, which just got
Even
brought up.
GPS, before we go into social media, just something quick. GPSs, right? You guys
Oh,
remember
yeah.
MapQuest, right?
Yeah.
You used to go and like, oh, I need to go this place. So I need to sit down, search it, and then I have to print out a piece of paper with the direction
Yeah.
from MapQuest. Or my early road trips in US, I've done it through that in the
Dude.
2000. Yeah.
So many
And
MapQuest.
y'all
stories.
remember how frustrating it was to do the online prawn stuff, right?
Oh, it was almost
To
stupid.
download a picture, then and then maybe even dare to try to print it out. It'd be like,
Yep.
Dude, I still remember
one
the
very
first,
slow line at a time.
I still remember the first nude picture I seen the internet. I swear to God, I sat there for like 5 minutes for that woman to load on my screen, boobs first, and then comes the bush. It's incredible.
And she's
But
taking up like this much space on your
yeah,
screen. You're like looking at like I think I can see.
but guess what? Even porn then. Sorry, not to just even then, like when you looked at a nude magazine, it actually made something, right? It wasn't like in front of you all the time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And if someone caught you like with a nude magazine, it was a shame, at least from where I was from, right? And but now, like as you were saying, it just just everything is just right in front of you. It's yeah.
In the palm of your hand at all times, all ages
Yeah.
pretty much too. Mark, go ahead.
Yeah.
What were you going to say there?
Oh, well, one thing I was going to say was that, yeah, when you had to consciously board the internet, you'd have to go on like an on ramp, and you'd get on, the World Wide Web, the internet superhighway. You'd actually have to take an on ramp. Now, as soon as that modem or router's on, you're just on. You're online all the time, and so the surveillance state then has a very easy time. It's unconscious now. It's just on autopilot unless you turn that phone off or that modem or router off. And even then, there are no absolute guarantees. But that's another absolute fundamental change they've made, is that now, unless you consciously make a decision to not be online, you are all the time.
And I mean, let's face it, how many, what percentage of people actually unplug their router ever? I mean, most our routers are on 24/7, 365.
Yeah, I turn mine off all night long. I always shut it down, because of the EMF too,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, there's been some good things, but and a lot of self-employment you can do, and it's not all bad. But another thing I was just going to say for nostalgia is, besides the sound of the modem, the old sound, the sound of a dot matrix printer would be kind of nice right now.
Oh yeah, I love that sound.
See if I can find it.
Someone's got to have it.
If we're going to conjure up spirits, here's another one.
Yeah, really.
It's like, okay.
Well, can you guys hear this?
No.
All right. Yeah, I can't mine that particular source for sound effects. Hopefully,
Well,
Infidel
okay,
can find it.
listen. Here's what's interesting, exactly to kind of to Mark's point, to everybody's point, to this whole thing, is how did we get here? Where did this really all kind of start? It kind of started with beepers, believe it or not.
Yes.
Right? because like we were totally okay in an environment, in a world where there was at least some sort of functioning internet. There were, cellular, phones available to the uber rich or whatever. And for the most part, some people would be like, oh, I'm jealous because, oh, look at the rich guy with his car phone or whatever. But it wasn't until the beepers came out that became like a mass, like general public thing. Suddenly, I mean, obviously at first it was like emergency responder type things, doctors or whatever. But next thing you know, like sometimes it was put out there for you if you were in a certain employment situation, but people were just buying them. I think ultimately, and this was like in the 90s where people were just kind of being a little snobby like that. They were like, it made them feel important, because what effing reason, especially at that time, until everybody started doing it, would you need to feel like you're constantly reachable or able to, why would you do it? Well, it helps you kind of in a way project the fact that you're important and or make yourself feel that you're important. I think, I don't know what other reason there is, but I had one for no damn reason. Who need, like, well, just in case, I'm out at dinner or watching a movie and somebody really needs to get a hold of me, I got a beeper, so excuse me, I got to run to a payphone. Remember payphone? Or payphones, kids, ask ChatGPT. I wonder Grok even knows what a payphone is. I doubt it. But yeah, and then next thing you know, like, oh, well, bam, look at this. We got these mobile cellular phones. And then bam, those are now, hey, look, it's your internet device. It's your music device. It's your this device. It's all that thing. And then, oh, look, social media. And then you're constantly connected to all of that garbage. And it's just this constant connection. But we didn't need it. I think the gateway drug was the beepers. And, thank God those weren't the beepers that people were, passing around. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. I know what you were thinking.
Very
there.
well put. That's very interesting. I was in Canada recently and saw an operable phone booth.
A real
nice
one?
Wow.
It might as well have been a mastodon, right?
I saw a video on YouTube the other night saying that beepers are making a comeback. So I don't know. I guess there's
I'll stay away, thanks.
Yeah, not after
Yeah.
I've seen what's gone on with beepers in the last year or two. No thanks.
I think that's what happened here, because remember the one that was gifted to...
Oh, right. The golden beeper.
Yeah, I
Never-
heard Netanyahu's gifting us was 40 million peepers.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's just
great.
That's great.
Yeah, and
Hey,
then the
speaking of
blackberries came up,
Netanyahu,
and that
you
was
guys want to see my jack-o'-lantern I carved this year?
Oh, that's a nice
Nice.
jack-o'-lantern there, dude.
Yeah. The face of evil, pure evil.
So talking about people that wanted to feel important, I remember the blackberries and all the businessmen that was running around with blackberries,
Oh, dude.
and that was like the shit, right?
Yeah, don't even get me started on the blackberries. I lived through that whole thing in a work environment where everybody had access to them and everybody got them. And then after it was interesting because it was like the BlackBerry came in. Well, I was kind of in the nerdosphere, techosphere ahead of that even, and I was carrying around a Palm Pilot for a while before
I
that.
remember the Palm, yeah.
Because the Palm was the first thing you could get that actually had GPS. And I found that fascinating, even though I didn't really need GPS. I just thought it was fascinating that I could have a handheld computer that I could put on a magnet in my car and then route some little cable all the way through my doors and all this stuff and put on top of the car. And then I could get like a satellite signal that would give me a map. And now this is a rudimentary map. We're talking here in like, what am I thinking? Like maybe like 2002 or something like that is probably when I had that thing. And it worked. It was pretty cool. I was like, oh, wow. But then the Blackberries came out and I don't know, for some reason, I don't really have a reason I didn't get one. I think I just was like waiting to see what that technology was going to do. And then all of a sudden the iPhones came out and I just leapfrogged BlackBerry. No, I did. I had one. It wasn't a BlackBerry though. I had the BlackBerry competitor, which was also by Palm. It was called the Palm Pre, I think. And it was basically a BlackBerry that was made by Palm Pilot.
I remember I had a Palm, the one that had the pin in it.
Yeah, dude, that's the one. I had that one too. Yeah.
So do you guys remember when we used to actually wanted to play, going from when we used in our old cars when we had cassette, and then we wanted to connect audio to that, right, through a jack.
Yep. Like you
Remember
put your
that cassette
Discman, you bring your
adapter?
Discman in the car and
A
put the little
cassette
jack in.
adapter, yeah,
Yeah.
with
Yep.
To this day, I don't know how the hell that worked. How you had that fake tape cassette that would plug into the tape player with the wire sticking out that was
Yeah.
CD. I don't. It doesn't make any sense. How did that? It's magic,
That
voodoo,
was
alien
very
technology.
voodoo-esque. Definitely.
Very weird. Very spooky.
Okay,
or even
so
VHS. So I'm before we go there. So
yeah.
one of the things also, I sorry, it just
No,
got
it's
me
all right.
started. I remember the days when I really, as a kid, one of the things we used to do every Thursday, as a family, we used to go to the video store and actually rent a movie cassette. You know, those old like
Like VHS or beta?
VHS, yeah, the VHS.
All right.
And that was also incredible. I spent so many days, you know, remember when they actually used to not play and then that black thing started coming out, right?
Yeah, you'd have to take it all
You
apart
have
and
to
try
take it
to
all apart and try to rewind it. Yeah, that's, I don't know. Again, there was something about it, right? So the activity itself, right? I actually had to do a conscious effort, and we have to go to the store. We go around. We look for, you know, for the movie you wanted to rent,
you
and
only
we
get
take
one
it and we
shot
go
at it this
home.
time too,
That's
right?
right. That's right. And yeah, it's I again, it's the fact that not everything was available in front of you all the time was just made you appreciate it, right?
Right. Things were more special when they weren't just always sitting there on, you know, this thing. Like everything's just sitting there on this thing now. And back in the day, it was like, well, we really got to work for it. We got to pay for it, work for it, move for it. Takes time, energy, all that stuff. So it was like when you, I can relate to that, Pharaoh. You know, because we had a video store that my family used to go to too, and it was a big deal. You know, I mean, we'd go maybe more than once a week, probably. Me and my sister were pretty persistent with my parents as far as being entertained, probably, but those trips to the video store, and it's like you'd have all the subsequent trips, and you'd think about the ones that you didn't rent before, so you'd have like other ones in your mind, but then there'd be new ones there that had just
Mhm.
come out. I remember how long you had to wait for a movie to come out,
I
like
do.
after it was in the theater, like you'd wait some. I mean, I think we waited more than a year, or like
Mhm.
many years actually, for Star Wars to become available on VHS.
Even,
Oh yeah.
like, anybody still goes to movie theaters?
I
Hashar,
do.
I know you still go, right?
Yeah,
Sometime,
we
yeah.
go. Not we would go more if we had more time and you know, availability for it, but we try to get out there when there's something good. The problem is time and availability is short, and good movies are short also.
Yeah,
But yeah, I like the theater, man.
I do miss going to the theater. I actually lost movie theater. Last movie I went to was in 2019 before COVID, dude.
Oh
Been
dang, you're
actually
way
been
overdue.
about 6 years. Yeah.
Wow, you're holding fast. We saw Nosferatu most recently. That's one of the few movies we've seen in the last 5 years or so, probably.
I definitely got you all beat. I'm trying to think real
Oh
hard here,
yeah,
but I'm pretty
Ruckus's answer is
sure.
going to be in the late '90s or early 2000s, I
No,
bet.
well, yeah, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was. Okay, it's not so bad, but I want to say it was the Quentin Tarantino Robert Rodriguez team up, the Planet Terror, either
Mm.
that or Kill Bill, whichever one came first or
Those are good.
last.
Those are good ships to sink with, right there, as
But
far as
I think it
Hollywood
was
goes.
I think it was Planet. I think it was the Grindhouse double feature. I think that was the last one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are good. Okay, well, what about social media? I remember the very first one I was on. We didn't really have the term social media at the time. It was just sort of this new website, and it was called Tribe, and it was used a lot in the Bay Area. I noticed, or at least it was really good at finding me people in the Bay Area, and that was cool. I'm pretty sure that was the first one I was on, and then Friendster came up. At least these are the orders I came across them in. It was Tribe, and then Friendster, and then MySpace came along, and everything changed. And I don't know when the term. I don't think the term social media came along until Facebook arrived.
Mhm.
So
Even
You
after
mean,
Facebook,
you
'cause
mean LifeLog by DARPA?
yeah, well, LifeLog was brewing in the background, probably stealing the tech from Friendster and Tribe and all that stuff.
when was Friendster and Tribe, Hasher?
What do you mean?
I don't remember those. So
Oh, okay.
give us timeline.
So tribe.net, I think I probably found in around 2000 and oh boy, I want to say that no, that was before, that was somewhere around like 99, maybe 2000, 2001, something like that. Maybe even as far back as 98, I'm not sure. And then Friendster was right after that, and then MySpace, pretty much all probably within a year and a half of each other or something like that. It's hard to remember.
Yeah, I remember I joined MySpace in early 2000s.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right.
And then Facebook, I joined it in grad school. It was in like 2007.
Yeah,
And
I
it
think
was only for .edu
yep.
emails.
Oh, okay, yeah, I joined it in 09, I think, Facebook.
Mm. Before the boomers took it over.
And the algorithms.
And the algorithm.
The algorithms are what kicked all the sensible people off, I think. But yeah, I met some. I had great value out of the early days of those sort of websites. I don't want to call them social media because they were pre-social media, but I mean they're. I don't know how else you would frame them at this point. It was just MySpace. That was the place where you had your page, like, and you didn't need to know how to build a web. That was the cool thing about MySpace was anybody could have one. All you had to do was log in, and the other cool thing about it, Spore loved this feature a lot. I know. Was you could have a song playing on your page. You
That's
could
right.
pick
I
songs.
love that, dude.
Wasn't that cool?
It was really around music. I remember because I used to follow a lot
Yep.
of the music people there.
Yep. I made a lot of friends in the Bay Area metal scene, and I met people from bands that I was interested in, and all kind of stuff. And it was the first place where like I saw a community like that build around where like, people are posting updates. So if somebody went to a concert that I missed, or I went to a concert that they missed, or we went to one together, we would get notified about it, or we could notify other people about it. They would see our pictures from it, and all that stuff. I mean, it was awesome. And there was no concern about somebody. I mean, there were very little concerns about somebody pretending to be someone else. That was not really a huge thing at the time. And no algorithms hiding things from you. Your page was what it was. Other people's pages were what they were.
None that we're aware of, Hesher.
Yeah. Right. Just in general, not like bathing in it like you are now. You know what I mean? It felt organic-y.
Like I think I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before on air too, actually. But if it wasn't for MySpace, I mean, I learned about Project Bluebeam thanks to MySpace because
Dude.
I was using it for like networking purposes. So it was for me, it was like a living like resume or cover letter or something like that. And I wanted to advertise. I was really interested in getting involved with like movie special effects at the time. That's what I was going to do. And I wanted to get into animatronics. Ironically, robotics, right? Yeah, and like Stan Winston. Yeah, there you go. You see, Stan Winston did that one, right? Pumpkinhead, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Was that Pumpkinhead?
Yep.
Okay, so the thing is, like, so I put on my MySpace. You could put little details about yourself, kind of like similar to like how Facebook and all that crap does that now. But I said that I just kind of like I lied. I said that I did special effects, that I'm studying it or something like that, right? So it was if algorithms existed, a bot would have picked up on that and then self-serve me ads, but those didn't exist at that time, which means that a real life human being saw that. I'm presuming so. Somebody sent me an email and reached out to me and started was talking about like they were hiring people who were in those fields for this thing. And basically they were describing what and I think it even said it, but Bluebeam, like basically like, for the purposes of preparedness exercises like involving alien invasions, and that they were going to try to recreate this stuff using laser light shows, robotics, animatronics, special effects, crisis, all sorts of crazy effing shit. I mean, this was way before I was even exposed to any type of conspiracy theory. So I just thought the whole thing was like, huh, that's kind of weird. Right. And then later on, I was like, oh, damn, yo. Like, you know what I mean? Like, wow, it's just wild stuff. But yeah, I'll never forget that. That's my big MySpace story.
Yeah. Yep. It was great. It was very useful.
Talk about creation. I used to Flash player. I used to do a lot of Flash also back then.
Oh yeah. Macromedia, right?
And
Macromedia Flash.
Yeah, Macromedia Flash.
Or Adobe bought it. I loved.
Mhm.
How is that not AI agents, by the way?
What do you mean?
Or am I thinking of something else? Or I'm thinking of Macross or whatever. Oh, is that the same thing? What am I thinking?
Well, the Flash, you could do a lot of stuff with Flash over the years. Like at first, it was just kind of like cartoony graphics and stuff, but it really got
slideshows and
yeah. Like you could make GIFs with Flash.
Mhm.
You could make little animations with Flash, and they also had a Flash player, which was sort of like that real audio player. The Flash player was kind of like that. I mean, I made some cool things with Flash back in the day. It was fun, but then Adobe bought it and kind of just absorbed it into their Borg.
And then they killed it, and
it's not even a web standard anymore.
Mhm.
What was that thing like? It was so annoying, actually. Oh, Java. Remember? Yeah. Oh, you must install Java on your computer.
Well, Java, ironically, Java is what killed Flash. So, like, Java got so good that they were basically able to do anything that Flash could do with Java, and it had all these other useful backs. And like, that's where you probably start seeing a lot of AI hidden nowadays. I bet there's a lot of AI hooks in JavaScript. But yeah, I think Java might have been the vampire that sucked the blood out of the Flash player. Same could maybe be said for the real audio player too.
Mhm.
It would be like YouTube. You could, or you couldn't, or there'd be like a yeah.
You'd go to all these sites.
You would need the Flash thing, and then next thing you know, no, you need the Java thing. Like what?
Yep. Just to look at a website. I mean, that's happens so rarely nowadays, where it's like, oh, you can't see this website unless you do this or that. I mean, there's a lot of that. Don't get me wrong, but not like that, where it was just like, you'll need this plugin to see this part of the internet.
I'd be like, I'd give up. I didn't want to see cat videos that bad anyway.
Yeah, really. So these places have all turned into ghost towns. Before we move into the next part of my little ride here tonight, though, we got to talk about Napster. We got to talk about music sharing, right? I mean, I don't know if Paul's still with us. If you're stepped away, Paul, don't worry about it. We got you covered. Just let me know when you're back. But I bet all four of us were pretty interested in that whole thing. What about you, Pharaoh? Were you a Napster user or any of the similar services back then?
Oh, I I was a Napster user. Definitely.
And that came along like its existence coincided with the release of consumer grade CD writers, while most people's cars had CD players in them at the time. So it was a big kerfuffle because CDs were the standard format, and then MP3s showed up, and Napster allowed us to share them peer to peer. Let me go to Paul Etition here. I know he's got a theory. He is a musician. He lived through this. Paul, what do you think?
Well, I might have missed some of the context, domestic matters to tend to, but yeah, you're striking a nerve there. Along with all of this is the diminution or eroding away of the very concept of ownership. A CD, a LP, a record, a cassette were physical things that you owned. Well, the internet has been a harbinger and a handmaiden to taking away the ownership of tangible things. And now you lease a movie that you used to have on a CD or DVD on your little shelf in your you know in next to your books. Maybe you'd have books, which are an analog curiosity, right? Wow, look, books. What's that? Some people might even say, what's that thing? So right alongside your books, you had your, at one time, 8 tracks, then cassettes, of course, LPs, 45 and 33 RPM records, and all this stuff you owned. And now, especially those things consisting of music as well as movies, you lease online. You don't even own the software that you use, like the Microsoft Office suite. You used to buy it on CDs, and you would load it onto your computer. Now that's leased and rented online. Yes, you get automatic updates, but forever and a day, literally into infinity, you're paying every month to have the Microsoft Office suite. To say nothing of the fact that Microsoft is like the only company allowed to even make those things. I mean, on a Mac you have, Keynote, and on a PC you have, PowerPoint. I mean, the choices are very narrow. The ownership is almost non-existent. So, you know, the fact that you'll own nothing, aka a World Economic Forum, is definitely a reality, and has been for some time. Right along the same lines as bank teller becomes ATM, becomes uh, a digital bank account, central bank digital currency. So you went from a live teller to an ATM, which is a robot teller, to essentially where you wouldn't need a teller because there'd be no cash. It's central bank digital currency. It all follows um, that same lineage, that same evolution, or devolution, you might call it. Um, I mean, the technology is interesting. A debit card is handy. I'm not even opposed to using debit cards per se, but you see where it's all going. It's all going to intangibility, and the elimination of tangible ownership.
Yes. So there is the ugly head of the New World Order right there. Brong.
Pretty much.
Yes, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, because the conveniences are so great, right? The conveniences are so great. Like, I don't know, man. I've got, check this out, Mark.
Well, a real quick comment is, one major aspect of it is, when you're online and you watch YouTube videos or you watch movies, there's a record of everything you watched. Whereas if you were renting videos or buying DVDs, it's murky. No one can really easily trace what it is you're watching. You watch it at home through your own medium, the CD or DVD itself, and so no one is tracking what you're watching and cataloging it.
I was when I was a general manager of Hollywood Video.
But
Yeah,
if,
yeah, I
but
mean,
if, but if somebody else wanted to know
Just
about it, if somebody else wanted to know about it, like say, Joe Blow in your town, killed someone or something like that. Joe Blow in your town became the next Michael Myers, and an investigator would have to like go to his house and say, "Oh, I see receipts from Hollywood Video here. Which Hollywood
yeah,
Video is this?" And then they'd have to drive over there and be like, "Dude, have you seen this person? Do they rent videos here?" And then you'd be like, "Well, yes. Let me bring up my 486 computer here." And yeah, yeah. But it's not like, you know what I mean? Now it's like that. And it's not just what we watch, right? It's like everything that we search for, everything that we purchase, everything that we do, all the social media stuffs, our responses, our comments, our DMs,
our banking.
Yes, all that. And it's all being categorized into metadata at a these are, I guess this is the time to get into the current horror story here, right? Because the algorithms and the machines are haunting us. And that's exactly what this points to. Back in the day, it was like nobody, someone would have to know you to know what kind of stuff you watch, or, they would have to be like Ruckus and be the person like giving you your video rentals to know the kind of stuff you watch. Now, every corporation knows, Palantir knows, all the law enforcement people can know. I mean, then it's not like they're not omniscient, but they have the Palantir, right? They have the Seeing Stone, they have the metadata, they know all the way down to what things in the doom scroll you slow down on for an extra 10 microseconds or milliseconds, right? Like all that is honed down into what I can only use a metaphor like this as is a giant panopticon, spooky, haunting surveillance system that can, if asked, bring up an entire three-dimensional view of you or me, right? A completely three-dimensional, maybe 5D, who knows, to include perhaps, your all 21 markers or on your DNA chain. I mean, who knows? Your everything, your political interests, your web searches, anything, all of it is essentially available in a new world order, technocracy, dystopia, panopticon thing, which is why we're all here, right? That's what we're here to talk about quite often.
There's an episode of the British comedy Red Dwarf. I'm a major Red Dwarf fan, and Rimmer is this kind of shallow midshipman aboard the Red Dwarf mining ship in deep space, and they go to this justice zone, this derelict vessel they find, and they go on board. And the computer on board the Justice Zone derelict ship can read their thoughts and read their guilt and read their minds in such a way where it knows their past, and it detected his guilt and interpreted that as culpability or responsibility for committing a crime, and then it fitted boots on him, and the boots locked onto his legs, and the boots made him walk the way the boots wanted to go, and it walked him right into a jail cell. It's hilarious. It's done in a comical fashion, and I won't tell you the whole story. I mean, it's really funny. If you saw it, you would just fall down laughing. Much like a much newer episode, a much more recent episode of Red Dwarf, where it's called M Corp, and the Red Dwarf mining ship that the four zany characters from Red Dwarf are aboard all the time. It has a computer that runs the ship. Well, they wake up from a deep slumber going through space, and when they do, they find out that the operating system on their ship had expired. And then it started talking to him. It said, "But don't you worry. Now M Corp is your new operating system. Just sit back and be comfortable, and we'll run everything." And M Corp takes over. And again, it's so funny, you can't even hardly stand it. You're laughing so hard, you're like hyperventilating. But the ship, M Corp takes over the ship, and it decides that the four crew members are redundant, that they serve no corporate purpose, and it begins to erase them.
Oh,
All of a sudden, one of them just bleeps, and the other three go, "Where'd he go?" And the ship's like, "Well, we decided that Lister was no longer crucial to the ship, so we have disappeared him. Don't worry, M Corp has it under control." And so it's a great metaphor for a dystopia, right? That the M Corp takes over and decides that you're not really needed. So you all of a sudden you're walking along and you just bleep, you just disappear.
And what did they call people that were still going to work during 2020? Something about whether you were needed or not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Essential. Are you an essential, right? Ruckenstein is an essential
I'm
worker.
always essential.
Yeah. So
you got to see M Corp of Red Dwarf if you want to see something funny.
all right. So the dead towns of cyberspace are not the only spirits. It's the machine itself haunting us here. There's a article that somewhat fits in and was inspirational in this. Let me share it with you real quick here. Over at the Philosopher, have we finally become ghosts in the machine? It's Brad Evans and Chantel Meza. Interesting write up there. The idea of humans being ghosted by colonizing machines has long been a philosophical history, from Gilbert Ryle's earlier meditations on Rene Descartes and his concerns with the separation between mind and body to Arthur Koestler's subsequently inspired book titled The Ghosts in the Machine, in which he warned humanity about the way our desire for a certain transcendence has led to a particular fetishization with technology that was hurtling us toward oblivion. We have been rightly suspicious about the possibility of technological enslavement and how we may end up authors of our own extinction. Just as a bit of a teaser there for that one. It's probably too long to read in tonight's broadcast, but I will link it on the show page when we get that out there. But I don't know. It kind of like made me think of the whole dead internet theory. You know, this essay fits in with dead internet theory really well.
Ask ChatGPT to summarize it in a 5-minute. No, I'm just kidding.
In 2 sentences.
Yeah, using the voice of Morgan Freeman.
And do it in a limerick.
It must rhyme, be a haiku, and sound like Dr. Seuss wrote it. Go.
So you talk about like being connected and owning and all this. Musk I just posted that. Yeah, actually, like a couple of days ago. This is just a grok summary file because I couldn't find the exact tweet. But basically, he was saying that he's floating the idea that really Teslas, like, when you're not using your car, but actually it's not going to be your car anymore. But basically, when your car is idle, right, we don't need to go build massive data center. Actually, the Tesla cars can be the AI computing data center. So the cars themselves can connect to each other, right? And you can do them as more of a distributed computers. Really interesting concept, right?
The sci-fi analogy that comes to mind is Battlestar Galactica, the relaunch, Battlestar Galactica. The absolute vulnerability of having things too networked, right? They have their entire military network. The Cylon forces come and they crack the network using largely social engineering to get in there and plant their bugs and tech. And then an entire planet falls. What happened? Was that a week ago, week and a half ago? Oh, yeah. A large majority of the internet turned off because there was a bad piece of code in the Amazon Web Services stack. So the list of businesses that were Tango uniform tits up that day was a very long list. And we're talking corporate giants, Fortune 500, Fortune 100. And then there's the way it affected everybody else also, all the way down to mom and pop shops. So that whole single point of failure or point a point of vulnerability that creates an entire internet that can turn into a house of cards, burning house of cards. That's pretty frightening. That's not really where we were supposed to end up with. So like Pharaoh, when they start talking about distributed stuff, I get it perks my ears up because I'm interested in that, because I think the solution to these problems is distribution, and even in blockchain format. But I'm afraid when you've got such a small number of technocrats and CEOs and politicians who are all in each other's pockets, it's not going to actually function in a way that removes all those vulnerabilities by having a larger set of nodes and a less controlled node grid. If that makes
Yeah, and,
sense.
and yeah, exactly. And who gives a priority? So yeah, my kid needs to go to the hospital. No, sorry, we can't drive you because actually the car processor is busy processing a transaction, and you
And is
can't
it
use your
sucking
car
your
right
battery power to make money for
exactly.
other
That's the thing,
people?
right? So they are sucking your battery power, right? You paid for the car, and they're using it.
Yeah.
Insane. If
Yeah.
not, and in this case, they're going to say, "Well, we're going to just rent you the car, so you don't really." And that's really for Teslas anyway. Nobody owns it. It's actually more rent, right?
Yeah.
But all of them lease.
The
So
new Toyotas too. I was watching there. By the way, there's a IMDb flash right there for the episode of Red Dwarf that Mark was talking about. There it is, M Corp episode. I don't see the episode number, but oh yeah, season 12, episode 5, M Corp, Red Dwarf. Thanks, Mark. But I was looking at the some reports on the new Toyotas, like 2025 Toyotas, and we've talked about this before. Spores brought it as an icebreaker in the past, like BMWs and stuff, where you have features as a service, an extra
mhm.
paid service in your vehicle. And the amount of features as a service in some of these new Toyotas is mind boggling. Mind boggling. Like your car, you just paid $70,000 for this, Forerunner or something like that. I don't even know what they cost because I can't afford one. I'm spitballing. And you're going to have to pay like, I don't know, upwards of $200 extra a month to enable all the features on it.
That's why I'm a Tesla man, dude. Apparently, this comes at no extra charge.
There you go.
Yeah, now we're talking.
So just tying this to what we were saying earlier about actually what we used to do back in the days, um, when we actually used to use our brain to store information, right? Because we used to rely on our brain, not on machine to give us information.
Mhm.
Because that's exactly what happens, right? Our brain now, your single point of failure is the machine and the internet. Everything even your knowledge right now, as you're getting more lazy because you don't need to retain any knowledge, right? Because everything you're just gonna get a summary from Chat GPT, right? um it's heading to a scary place, right? Because imagine a scenario where this is down, right? Where actually all our knowledge is stored on computers and online, and when this goes away, then where is the knowledge? Where is the knowledge in the human brains? Where is the knowledge actually in written books, right? Non-digital format. It's gonna slowly disappears, and that is a scary thought, right? Because believe it or not, EM devices are very vulnerable, right? They are very vulnerable devices, right? Vulnerable to like EMPs, right? Like shift in like a magnetic storm from the sun can fry all of this, and here we go. We're just sitting there, just helpless, right? Because nobody can really know how to even get to their house without a freaking GPS.
And you're just
Right?
sitting there in your $70,000 Toyota with a cold ass because you haven't paid to rent your seat warmer.
Or yes, or they lock you out because you did not, yeah, because you, yeah, and then get that untied to what we've been talking about, right? This whole like digital online social score, right? And now you're easily shut down from everything. That's it. That
Mhm.
that is the goal at the end is full control over you and your life, full control over everything you have, so that you'll always be slave of the matrix. This is the end goal. This has always been the end goal, so that you are nothing more than just a battery, right? Part of that machine that just generate information for them, or just running as that Black Mirror episode to just generate some power for your Tesla to be a computer for them to run their AI.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. All right, let me Mark, if you're there. I mean Paul, Etition, if you're there, just pop back in whenever you want. Because I know you got to get out of here pretty soon, but we're yeah. So I don't know, man. Ruckus, what about you? What do you think? And you may get interrupted as Mark comes in to bail out here, but uh, as far as the current horror story and the machines haunting us and looking to perform vampiric acts of sucking our essence out and leaving us as cold husks in search of new soul, knowing that we're damned forever online. What's your current horror story in the algorithms and machines haunting us realm? It
Well,
can
it's
be a
kind of
current
funny.
event. It could be a current
Yeah,
event if you like.
yeah, sure. No, but we've mentioned this before, but we're seeing more of an uptick in this already, and I think it's gonna start to become a more prevalent, common commercialized thing, and that is bringing back loved ones from the dead.
Ah,
Who is it? Was it the husband of? Oh my God, was it Suzanne Summers? Who? Wait a minute. Did you guys hear the news? There was a celebrity, a famous person who had passed away, and her husband resurrected her.
I don't know if
Who
I
who
have.
was the? This might be in one of the. This might actually be in the icebreaker, in the Discord here for Boiler Room. But regardless, the thing is that's where I think we're going. So even as detached as we already are from reality, from our loved ones, cut off from them since I don't know, a couple weeks ago in 2020 or something like that, got progressively worse. The fact is that now they want us to be, not let go because, unfortunately, when people die, it's a terrible thing, obviously, but it's part of being human. And I think that they're going to take that part of our humanity away by at least making it seem, anyways, that we're not truly away from our departed ones. And then it also opens the doorways into the possibilities of the promise for us. It's not really for us, it's for them, for like life extension and living, the consciousness being uploaded and all of that stuff. But hot damn, I wish I could find that story. Somebody out there, if you know what I'm talking about, let me know. I swear it was a famous person. And then ultimately creepy story. I was very concerned about this because the other trend we've been seeing, speaking of stealing away our humanity, is the fact that, Grok started it. Grok was the trendsetter on this one. Way to go, Grok. But ChatGPT has now said, yes, they're going to allow the erotic stuff, with the chat, with the AI, right? So, okay, well, that's its own set of problems. But what happens now when the AI that already exists comes out and says something like this? The breaking news earlier this week was that the world's first AI minister, the one from that one country there, says that it's pregnant and is going to be giving birth to 83 children. This would be the AI prime minister. Oh yes, did you see that,
Oh
Hesher?
yeah, we played it on the show I think a few weeks
Did
back.
we? Did we really? Okay, all
I
right.
thought we
See,
did.
I'm confused. See, it's like it's Groundhog's Day
Yeah, no,
again.
we did. I'm sure we did.
Again. So I'm very concerned about all of those types of things. The AI basically literally it's almost like it's a form of a demon possession. It's sort of, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
They're also playing some sort of bizarre, spiritual, holy, religious, godlike replacement therapy for otherwise other normal things. But again, I'm more concerned with this trying to resurrect the dead. And when you think about that, historically speaking, depending on what you believe, there's only one person or, a small handful of his followers that were able to, literally resurrect people from the dead. So, I don't know. It feels a little, anti-Christ like behavior to me coming from the machines, Hesher.
Yeah, and I think Spore has also brought us an icebreaker about people who have done this, like fallen into like speaking of nostalgia. We were talking about the nostalgia earlier. Like just imagine the danger of the nostalgia being able to program an AI or a bot or whatever to take the place of a lost loved one. That's pretty scary there. And thanks, Eileen. She's come in and Said, yes, Ruckus, it was Suzanne Summers. There's the article right there. Apparently, Suzanne Summers is back because her husband says he created her AI twin. So,
We'll include that on the show notes for everybody.
yeah, we'll throw that in there if anyone wants to look into it a little bit more. But yeah. All right. Well, I've got one. This one's by request, and it was actually something I think we had on the docket of last show and didn't quite make it to. Pharaoh, I saw you unmute. Did you want to throw something in there before I move to this?
I had two things, but we can. If you want to go first, I can go after you.
No, go for it. Go for it, man. What do you got?
Well, I mean, talking about like the scary part about the internet, right? And the ghost of the present internet. I posted two links in the very beginning of the chat. If you want to click on the very first one, and then we can go to the second one.
All right, I got it. Stand by. Let me bring that up. Share. Oh, this one. Okay, all right. Yeah. This is an interesting one. Now, you've got Harrison Smith's analysis of this, right?
It's a different one.
Oh, okay.
There's two.
So the first one was the Harrison Smith one, talking about the Texas incident. Is that what you wanted to look at?
There is a shadow of Ezra is the first one.
Oh, okay. I didn't scroll
then,
up far enough. Okay, let me grab that one. Okay, here we go. Let me put that on screen for you. Yeah. Okay, this is the shorter version. That's what I was looking for. All right. So yeah, I'm glad you brought this up. Spore and I've been talking about this today. Texas police showed up at the home of a disabled U.S. Navy veteran without a warrant after he made comments, quote, about the Jewish community, end quote, and Israel. Officers claim they were there to ensure he didn't intend to, quote, harm people, end quote. The veteran promptly ordered them off his property and says he now plans to audit the officers involved. Let's take a look here at the footage.
Try that again.
We're here because of the comments you made online about the Jewish community. Are you
So what?
No, I'm saying, are you?
I have a freedom of speech, dude.
Yeah, no, we get that.
We get that.
We gotta
Uh-huh.
make sure that you're not.
Do you have a warrant?
No.
No, that's why we're
Yeah,
here.
you see that sign?
Yeah.
So that says no soliciting. What you're doing is basically soliciting. You understand that, right? Yeah. It means you're not welcomed here.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Stay off the lawn, please. This is what they're doing, guys. You make comments about the Jews online, they'll fucking show up at your door. This is what they do. This is freedom of speech. This is how much control Israel has over our country. Look at this response. For exercising my freedom of speech online. Wow. What a fucking joke. What a fucking joke. Can't wait to do some auditing of you boys. Bye-bye.
All right, I'll stop that right there. So yeah, Pharaoh, what'd you think when you first saw that? And then Paul, we'll go to you. I know you got to get out of here soon.
Well, the first question is, how did they know, and who tipped them? Right? Who's actually sitting there monitoring and sending tips? Right? Hey, that person posted something. Go find him. Right? It's number one. Two, who authorized that? Three, who is paying for actually the police, which is supposed to be serving that community, to be policing online speech? Like, those are my three basic questions, and I would love to know answers for those. That's my comment.
I'm sure we have some guesses, and I'm sure our audience has some guesses too. Those are appropriate questions. The guy, his account, let me share this account. This is his original post here.
Oh.
This is Adam the Angler, and the description on his account is Oathkeeper, disabled U.S. Navy veteran, ex-Scientologist, avid angler and gamer, 2A and 420 advocate, libertarian, America first, Jews last. That's what he's got on his description. And if you go through the comments on it, it's really interesting. First off, can't many big accounts have reposted this. It's gone completely viral. I don't know how big Adam the Angler was before this. He does kind of look like he's a bit of an activist, and so he's probably already had some attention on him if he's out in public doing MAGA activities with his AR. That's absolutely his right. But I read the gosh, I must have spent almost an hour reading all the comments under here, and it was really an interesting read. There's a lot of people that kind of told him he asked for it, and people taking screenshots of certain things that he says online on his X account. He's also getting a lot of support, pretty much every angle you can imagine. And some of the things that he writes on there are edgy. You know what I mean? Like if you follow someone like Ryan Dawson, some of his stuff is similar in tone. But that seems to be the norm on X these days. Am I wrong about that? I mean, I go on X and it's just this topic over and over and over again all day. It's just like you can doom scroll the heck out of this one, and it's worked its way into the upper echelons of influencers and presenters on here. So I don't know, Pharaoh. It was disturbing to see that. I mean, did you know where this is? Do you know how close that is to us, Pharaoh?
No, but I know it's in Texas, which should be a red state. What is
Dude,
Abbott doing?
That is that's in our county. We live here.
Really?
That is our county right there.
Wow.
But note that there were no sheriff's office guys there from our county. There was that was DPS, basically state police, Texas State Police. Mm-hmm. And that one guy that, people were giving this guy guff in the comments for, having long hair and a beard. What's wrong with that? What's wrong? What? Thought this was America. We got long hair and beard. What's wrong with that? Anyway, he was getting some crap for having long hair and a beard. But if you notice, one of those three vehicles was an unmarked vehicle. So that dude, I would say, is probably an unmarked cop, someone who does undercover stuff. But maybe not anymore now that he's a super viral on X for looking like an errand boy for a foreign country and for American snitches and people that hate the First Amendment. I don't know. But to their credit, some of the things that he said, he claims were out of context, so I can't really say, but they showed some screenshots, and some of them were like, they're talking about the demise of certain peoples, and I don't know under what circumstances enough to judge it. I only just became aware of his account. But it's a local homie, I guess. So, what's up, dude? You've been featured on the Boiler Room, Adam the Angler there. But yeah, it was a big mess. Mark, I don't know if you missed the beginning of that or not, or if you caught the drift there, but I'd love to get your take on that, since this is based, you hang up here too in this county and you live in this state. So this guy got, jackboot state police coming to his house talking to him about his Twitter post because he's critical of Israel. What do you think?
Well, if I look at it with my detective glasses on, it's a little incongruent that he's a Trumper MAGA. I mean, isn't he looking at Trump's policies toward Israel?
I'm glad you pointed that out and spotted it, because when I saw that too, I was like, so wait a minute. I mean, maybe he's changed. I don't know. I don't really understand how you can still be MAGA and critical of Israel. MAGA doesn't really want you there if you're critical of Israel. I mean, do I have this right? I mean, there's a lot of lost people right now that are still, make America first. Let's just call them America first, and still consider themselves, Republican, and will vote GOP. But there's this, this void now, this fracture, this fissure that exists over this topic.
Yeah, one other thing I would add, and this is unlikely, but you always have to watch out for the online provocateur, someone who's intentionally edgy. in order to give people that are skeptical of Israel and Israel's policies a bad name. So, in other words, he would be intentionally doing edgy things so other people who are more rational but still skeptical or critical of Israel would be tainted by association. So, he could be an operative. He probably isn't. That's a long shot. But at the very least, you would think that he would, maybe he thinks that there's aspects of Donald Trump that is acting like they're pro-Israel, but ultimately maybe trying to bring Israel to heel, to bear in the long run. I've heard people make that argument, but again, that's a tough argument to justify when you see Trump looking the other way with the situation in Gaza and giving Israel not just free reign, but the the kingly treatment from A to Z. I mean, Israel can do no wrong. So, if he's really concerned about Jewish power, that Jewish power, at least on the surface, could have no better friend than Donald Trump. So, there's some contradictions and oddities and anomalies there that I would have to work out. But I'm just kind of sharing my wide range of thoughts, although some of it's highly speculative.
No, I'm glad you brought it up. I mean, it's a pretty, maybe it shouldn't be, and maybe somebody will, not appreciate me saying it, but it's a pretty confrontational public front to, and I'm not saying I don't support it either, but it does invite a certain level of scrutiny when you're like a public figure in a state like Texas and you're openly 2A advocate and openly 420 advocate. You know what I mean? It there is a potential for that sort of thing to happen, and I'm not accusing this guy of that. I'm not saying he is that. I think he's
Nor am
probably
I.
just a brave ass MFer, and
Yeah.
if everything's above board, my hat's off. Dude is brave, and he's willing to do whatever it takes and deal with things in real life for putting his commentary online. And I think his commentary is um largely constitutional as far as I can
Yeah.
tell. I can't say I haven't read it all. Maybe there's threats in there, and if there are, then that would be a reason you'd be visited by people like that. But there's also the, like you said, Mark, maybe not this guy, but people like that end up in legal trouble for one reason or another, especially if they're First Amendment auditors. And we have a thriving community of First Amendment auditors here in Texas, in Central Texas, people that, go out and film the police doing their jobs and post it online and that kind of stuff. We have some, like, you see the activism, on X and in the mass media, and it's like it's always these big organized things, and they never feature people like we have here in Central Texas. Our 1A auditors and 2A auditors are serious, and most of them are veterans. We know a couple of them, and they are legitimate patriots. But I do worry about them because I'm afraid I'm afraid they present themselves in a way that makes them targets to deeper law enforcement missions that could end up in situations like that, where they're end up having to kind of play controlled opposition to save their freedom or their ability to make sure their family's okay or their finance, whatever, all the different things that can happen. So that is spooky, Mark. That is definitely a poltergeist that is circling around in our culturegeist, or in our culturegeist, a poltergeist in our culturegeist. That would have been the title if I hadn't already made one tonight. So
you are the master of metaphor, Hash. You are the master of metaphor.
thank you, my friend. Well, people like you inspire me. So
Oh, that's nice of you to say.
all right, Mark. So I know you got to get out of here.
Yeah.
The dead towns of cyberspace appreciate you. Speaking, shining some lights on where we were, where we are. Any thoughts on where we're headed, Mark? What do we want to take as your final question, Mark? What do we want to take from the ghost towns of the old internet and make sure that we breathe life into in the future internet?
Well, again, I might be naive. I'd like to see if we can't rediscover and rekindle, rebuild some of those ghost towns and establish a little more democracy on the internet. I think what it used to be is more democratic in the true sense, and now it's oligarchic largely. Although there's traces of the internet democracy, we need to re-democratize it, and ownership and control of the different outlets and facets of it needs to be diversified. We can't just have, you know, the Elon Musk and Zuckerbergs and a few other sundry billionaires or frontmen acting like they're billionaires or whoever they exactly are, just running the whole ranch, and the rest of us are not even ranch hands. We're not even that. It's just unacceptable. It's a matter of control, and I'd like to see if we can't reestablish a more democratic multi-ownership system and preserve the best of it, take the things that are good and go with that, produce our news, challenge the dominant media narrative, yes, but also keep an oar in the analog waters. Let's still read books, let's still read newspapers, let's still get ink on our hands too.
All right. I like it. I like it. That's good. And we have the potential. It's like the $6 billion man. We have the technology. We can do this. We have the opportunities. It's just a matter of are the cybernetic poltergeist creeper ghoul gatekeepers going to let us access it and let us keep all the books, let us not place the books on some cloud where some server can come in and alter them and delete them and take the parts out of them that are the inconvenient for the current culture wave. Like, we need our Library of Alexandria, and I certainly hope that the entire Boiler Room
Yes.
archive, audio and video, is included in that, and everything from Stop the Presses is included in that. We deserve that. We as a species, we as a humanity deserve our Library of Alexandria, and it needs to be unburnable. You see these fucking creatures and ghouls behind me burning down sacred American things? No, no. We want to rebuild the Library of Alexandria, and we want to steal all that shit that they've got down there under the Vatican, by the way. And we'd like that stuff to be in there. And we want to take all that shit that the feds have, and the CIA and the Mossad. We want all that shit in this digital Library of Alexandria that is distributed on a blockchain and can never be burned down, never be deleted. Can we have this, please?
Dude, I got a comment. I actually thought about the Library of Alexandria earlier, just like that, and then I forgot. That was beautiful. That's Yeats William Butler Yeats level poetry. I gotta spit it out. And that was beautiful. That's exactly right. Our scrolls in the library. I'm sorry, that's our property. You don't get to go there.
That's right.
Mr. Oligarchic internet,
Yeah.
super duper controller. That's ours. You don't get to burn it down. They
No
say
deep fakes allowed, right? No deep fakes in the library. No bullshit NIST reports. None of that, right? No psyops in there. We want the facts, nothing but the facts, the real truth, the good investigations on things we don't have enough facts on. No censorship.
They say when the real one was burnt down that there's a claim that thousands of years of knowledge, including medical, were lost.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Medical, metaphysical, political, philosophical, religious, you name it. It was, and of course that's why I mentioned the Vatican too, because whatever did make it out, probably down there under that city.
Yeah, the Vatican Library. Yeah, there's no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Mark. Well, we'll let you get out of here and get some rest. It's been a spooky evening, and I'm glad we don't have to, wait and do this every time we talk to each other. And tell everybody where to find you, what you got going before you jump out.
Oh, well, yeah, the Truth Hound, although I don't update it enough, is my blog, thetruthhound.com. Politician being one of my many pen names. Of course, it's Mark Anderson, but UK Column on Fridays, typically Fridays, ukcolumn.org, and republicbroadcasting.org on Thursdays now, no longer Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Central.
All right, I'll have to get you a banner set up, Mark. I'll get you a banner next time you're in here, and I can just put the banner up when you're on your way out, and everybody can see it and all that good stuff.
That's spiffy. Good stuff, gentlemen. Yeah, got to crash. I'm running out of juice. I have to plug into the wall here for a while.
Mark is about to turn into a pumpkin in 3, 2, 1. Thanks, Mark. All right, there goes Mark Anderson.
Said he was running out of what?
Pumpkin seeds. He's running out of pumpkin seeds. Definitely.
That's not what I heard.
Juice.
Just kidding.
Juice boxes. He's running out of juice boxes. My goodness. Okay. Let me go back to Pharaoh real quick here, and then we'll go to Ruckus. Pharaoh, what do you? I mean, we've covered a bit of ground there on that particular incident that happened here in Central Texas. I mean, anything else you want to say about it?
No, I still want to know who was monitoring it and who tipped them.
Yeah,
I still don't know that.
He should be able to.
Is that automatic right now? Just we're automatically flag and sending like
well
alerts to.
Ooh, pick me.
Oh yeah.
Pick me.
Well, speaking of algorithms and the machines haunting us, what do you think, Ruckus?
I think the answer is quite damn obvious. To be like, it's obvious. Okay, listen. This is an example just from like pre the medical emergency thing, right? This was a story from in this case Vice, but whatever. You see stories like this all the time, right? I remember, not long after this, reporting about this on Daily Ruckus and stuff, but top secret user manual for cops. They're using this technology to police people. Here's one from 2017. Did you guys know this whole article was centered around the fact that Peter Thiel's secretive data company was used to help bust Richard Dorner. Remember Don't Drone Me, Bro, right? Wasn't that Dorner?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, they used Palantir to catch that guy. Check this one out. This is from August 2025. These two, the Babel X is another AI tool. They use these things they look at this, should I even dare say this on air? You know what I mean? It's all about the antiseptic stuff, right? And what was that Texas Navy vet confronted about? Yeah.
Yep.
Here's an example just from September 11th, 9/11, nice date. Right here from the Panopticon department, how Palantir is mapping everyone's data for the governments. They've got those two things. They've got, I forgot the effing name of them, right? What are those two tools? Gotham is one, right? And then there's another one called, God, I forgot the name of these things, right? So this guy, this D-bag right here, you know what I mean? Mr. Peter Thiel, the devil himself, as far as I'm concerned, and he's running around doing his Antichrist super tour. Oh no, that was maybe Marilyn Manson. I might have them.
That was a much better tour. I liked that tour.
I actually saw Marilyn Manson during that tour. Actually,
yeah, buddy, me too.
But I believe without enough evidence, without having to dig too far into this, I'm pretty sure that Palantir, or at least companies like Palantir, i.e., like offshoots or copycats or whatever of them, that's how. It's not a person monitoring him and ratting him out. No. It's all part of this algorithm, the thing, the ghost in the machine, the zombie, the snitch, all of these things. And by the way, ChatGPT is a snitch. I have plenty of stories about that. Do your research. Don't, ask or say things about it. The ChatGPT will rat you to the local authorities. And again, it's probably thanks to Palantir. You know what I mean? So,
So
I think it's technology.
So you've got the poltergeist of algorithms, right? You've got the poltergeist there, the ghost in the machine going around and scaring the crap out of everybody and using humans as its minion, by the way, with what Ruckus is saying there in that scenario. Algorithms, panopticon, spy softwares, the like, triggering an artificial intelligence that then triggers a pre-formatted email that goes to a law enforcement office that triggers a wellness check, right? Sounds like a snazzy workflow. I'm sure it could be used for something positive, maybe someone who's having suicidal ideation or something like that. I don't know. You could probably take that workflow and do something nice with it, but instead, this is what we got. And again, who called that in? It could have been the poltergeist, right? Or it could have been the zombies, right? You've also got people that are paid online, actual people, paid trolls sitting around in troll factories in various different countries and in their mom's basements, taking in fat paychecks to flag accounts like that, to flag posts like that, to run them up chains, a different workflow that starts with a human noticing it. That human is the zombie, right? Zombie. So you've got zombies and poltergeists moving around on the internet. Don't worry, there's vampires too. I think we may have already discussed the vampires, but I don't know. It's pretty spooky. It's pretty spooky out there. Pretty scary this Halloween.
The other name of the Palantir tool is Foundry. That's the one
Foundry.
used by corporations in the private sector. And then, private sector's getting quite cozy with the government lately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, by the way, I know you guys brought up the Alexandria thing, but obviously, in case you missed it, this is the White House. Oh, and
Yeah.
also, in case you missed it, just to add a little extra nail in the coffin of the symbolism here, most people forget this, but the White House is the people's house. So let that sink in.
Yeah.
It is.
As Elon Musk would say, right? Let that sink in.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Trump just renovated that bathroom. Was like some
white marble, the
White
shiniest,
marble.
most polished, most white. We're not white racists here. White polished marble.
There he is right there. Look, there's Trump working on the White House. Yeah, right there. Boom.
He's trying to trigger people.
The people's house. There it is. That was nice to have that on hand. All right, back to Halloween mode here. So, yeah.
Ghosts. I think I have to bail.
The dead towns of the internet. The ghosts have gotten to Mystical Pharaoh. Pharaoh, did you have anything else in the link stack there you wanted me to throw out before you go as a final comment, or?
No, it's actually really a great show. Thank you. I love the direction you went, and actually, it was pretty refreshing.
Hey, we had some fun tonight, man.
It is, man. It's good to actually get back and remember some of those memories.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's fun. We got to ride the nostalgia wave ourselves, but we did it in a way that was not just for the sake of it. You know what I mean? We're trying to see what was good back then, what's wrong right now, and if little old people like us, social rejects, can maybe nudge some of that stuff that they're trying to make go away, that the tech bros want to see go away, into internet 3.0, whatever that ends up looking like if we make it there.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing is really we're one of the lost. We are the lost generation that actually knows the meaning of being back in the era we're talking about, right? When not everything is connected.
Yep.
We still have the ability to reflect on this, right? And see how our even own behaviors have evolved, right, with all this technology around us. So I don't know. Maybe we can teach that new generation something. How really to go back and try to just live as a human being sometime.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Well, it was a pleasure having you here with us tonight, Mystical Pharaoh. Really enjoyed the Magic Carpet ride last week. That was fun. Thanks for bringing that, and hope you have a great rest of the Halloween here. And don't let the poltergeists and zombies and vampires of the interwebs get you down, my friend.
Oh, I shall not. I shall persevere.
That's right. Mystical Pharaoh always does. All right. There he goes. Follow Mystical Pharaoh on X right there at Mystical Pharaoh. Got his handle up there on screen. Be sure and follow Ruckus as well. That's his handle up there on screen at AC_word slinger. He's also available for your technical and marketing needs and internet needs and web needs and SEO needs. If SEO is still alive, it may have been zombified and drained by vampires and AIs, but hey,
Well, less technical stuff, to be honest. But yeah,
Yeah,
all that
well,
other stuff.
graphic design, you name it. I mean, just look at our graphics. Just look at that shit. Look at what Ruckus does.
I
And
just
of course,
realized I should have put the boiler room on the other side for you, Hesher, and the
oh
blank
yeah, yeah.
version.
Then we
My
can like
bad.
have them opposites, right?
I did. I made these ones way too quick tonight, but it's still fun.
Yeah, yeah. They came out pretty rad. And you can follow me on X at Hesher Media. Follow me on IG there too. And of course, our website is alternatecurrentradio.com. What do you think, Ruckus? I think we should probably cover the Israel-backed PR campaign that targeted 38 Arizona churches. We've been meaning to talk about this, and I think it fits nicely in our third movement of the show tonight, which is current horror stories, algorithms, and the machine haunting us. So let's just take a look for context here. Out of news.az.pm, Israel-backed PR campaign targets 38 Arizona churches is the headline. You may have seen people talking about this, various pretty large YouTube channels, growing YouTube channels, and journalists and pundits and analysts have been talking about this for a good week and a half or so. But the overhead is as an Israeli government backed public relations campaign aimed at evangelical Christians has listed 38 Arizona churches as potential targets. Publicly available documents, which is hot linked, you can check them out yourself, filed with the U.S. Department of Justice under the Foreign Agents Restriction Act, FARA, in late September, say the goal of the campaign is, quote, encouraging Christians to have a more favorable view of the nation of Israel, end quote. And if I may pause right there, that fits right in line. That's not out of the blue, because we just saw Netanyahu recently sitting down with young influencers, trying to brainstorm with them how to do exactly that same thing. So we saw the footage of that. They made it public.
Brainstorm or bribe?
Yeah, right. Brainstorming, and there was a lot of money involved to the tune of $7,000 a post, right? Just for an X post for certain
Allegedly.
people involved, allegedly. um, and most of them are getting harangued on X right now for taking these positions. It's been very interesting to see the pile on happening in some of the comments threads, but that's a story for another time here. Back to what we were talking about. So one of its proposed tools is something called geofencing. We've talked about it on this show before. If you know, you know. If you don't, it's drawing a virtual boundary around places of worship or any place. Places of protest are also infamous for being places that have geofencing done around them. Anyways, places of worship, and sending targeted ads to cell phones that enter the boundary. According to the documents, the campaign plans to, quote, geofence the actual boundaries of every major church in California, Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, and all Christian colleges during worship time. The list of churches attached to the documents include the Phoenix area churches, 2 in Prescott and 6 in Tucson, Pantano Christian Church. There's a whole list of them here. I won't go through it. According to the documents, the campaign is organized by Show Faith by Works LLC. Okay. The people in the chat were asking if I was going to talk about Show Faith by Works LLC, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And then they told me that reminded me of the headline. I was like, oh yeah, we're going to talk about it, because this fits right into the specters, ghouls, ghosts, algorithms of the current era, horrors of the current era. So Show Faith by Works LLC, a California company run by conservative political consultant Chad Shitger, I think it's Shitger. Just trying to pronounce it right, folks. Just trying to pronounce. Maybe I suck at it. Representing Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs out there in California, huh? Representing, okay. The campaign's $3.26 million budget is coming from Havas Media, a company that has received Israeli government money for other influence campaigns. Now I'm just going to stop right there. it should be illegal, might even be illegal. I don't know if it's not, it should be, to have a private company. And is it really a private company if the people that are funding them are taking government money from a foreign country? Maybe that's a question for someone a little more legally minded than me, but I don't know. It's worth asking. Ask your lawyer friends. To use stingrays, a stingray is a device that mimics a cell phone tower, basically. So just imagine that. Imagine that's your day at work, right? Your day at the office is going and setting up fake cell phone towers in a 3-point circle around every church in town, so that you can pump a foreign government's advertisements, nay, war propaganda, cultural engineering propaganda, into their personal devices, the goers of the churches and the colleges. And we borrow money, right? Any money we give to this country or any other foreign country is money that we borrow from ourselves and our future generations, right? Just so we're clear on that. We've given them what, $325 billion in the last 2 years. And they can take money and flood it into a subsidiary thing, and the subsidiary thing floods it into a Show Faith by Works LLC fake company, probably in California, to go out and do what I would think the FCC would think would be illegal. I mean, Ruckenstein, can you and I go, like, let's say we get a dream donor and they donate us, 5 dozen Stingray units. Is it legal for you and I to go around on Alternate Current Media LLC and set up stingrays outside of like all these churches and schools and steal everybody's cell phone connection and start injecting our political talking points into their phones? Like, is that legal for you and me to do? Because this company did it.
Well, sure, but first, let me ask you how you feel about converting your religious beliefs, sir. I hear there are certain hoops you can jump through in order to qualify for not being illegal. No, obviously not. Yeah, no, there seems to be a select class of people, always throughout history. Not necessarily always the same group of people, but this just happens time and time again with these little wealthy type elite circle cliques. I hate cliques. That's why we're social rejects, our own clique. Anyway, we're a cool kind of clique, kids. They're all right. But yeah, no, this is all wild stuff. What gives them? Why are they so special? It's almost like they think they're special. Actually, this particular clique literally thinks it's super special.
Can other countries do that? Can foreign nationals from other countries do that? Like, are we cool with China doing that? Are we cool with
Definitely not China, no.
what about Canada? Can Trudeau and Katy Perry come and set up a bunch of those here around all the churches? Is that cool? Are we cool with that?
Yeah, that might have been that beard might have been a gift. Oh, wait, sorry. Did not say that out loud. I'm sorry. God, I can't believe that happened. Anyways, that's a thing. Look that one up, folks. But yeah, wow. Wild.
Yeah.
No, you can't. No, you can't. Clearly, you can't. And again, it's because this particular group of people, this particular country, has been deemed special. And in order to sell the world or anybody on the concept of the fact that they are special, is they're hitting them where it hurts, where it counts, right? And their good old gut of their Bible belt belly, like religious beliefs. And this is just so dastardly in your face. Let me prove to you how dastardly in your face this is. If you are a believer or whether you're not, ready? Check this out. This is the Bible, by the way. Now, of course, I understand to that particular group of people we're speaking to, I'm about to quote something that came from the, forbidden New Testament, mind you. This comes from the letter of Paul to the Ephesians. So Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8. Hesher, what was the name of that company, the LLC?
Oh, that's show faith by works.
Oh, that's interesting. It says here, "For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God. For we are his work." Oh, sorry, not of works, lest any man should boast. If you are a Christian, you should literally fundamentally believe that we are saved by faith and not by works. And yet here we have this company with the name show faith by works, or what twisted devil tongued crap is this? And they're trying to propagandize, take advantage of a very important voter base in this particular country, believe it or not. Whether or not they understand anything in this Bible, most of those people who support the conservative movement, which is in power right now, identify, air quotes, as Christians. And they, we see the Ted Cruzes and the Mike Huckabees and this whole Zionist, this based on this weird dispensational, like end of the world Armageddon prophetic phony baloney silliness that this particular group of people are using to their advantage just to get their way. And it's not anything about religious stuff. It's not anything based out of this book. It's all about a secular group of people on a secular piece of land that they stole from other people, mind you, and want to continue to expand. And I believe I don't need to tell any of you the depths of the depravity and the wickedness and the evil and the death and the murder and the blood, everything. It's just terrible. The sacrifice that what they're doing just for land. But they tell you, oh, it's all because we're special. It must happen. And these drooling idiots get behind and be like, yes, hurry up, please, because we want to usher in the end of the world for Jesus to come a second. Like, they're getting all things twisted, but you got to look at who's feeding you this stuff. Go back to your sources, people. If you're a Christian, if you're a reader, if you're curious, go to the Bible. You might learn something. But yeah, now my next question about this, Hesher, what concerns me more than anything, I mean, you and I used to be a fan of horror films. I know you still are. But remember, like some of Wes Craven's Shocker is a good example. You remember that one? Wes Craven's Shocker.
Love that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Megadeth was on the soundtrack.
There you go. And the serial killer could like transmit himself between like the electricity signals, right? And through it was very clever.
They killed him in an electric chair, and he somehow like his soul escaped into the power grid.
Yeah, and when that movie Fallen came out with Denzel Washington, it reminded me mildly of that again, a serial killer or murder death row inmate who was killed, but then he was transferring his consciousness from one person to another, possessing them. Right now, okay, what this whole geofencing thing concerns me, because in the original reports that were discovered from this FOI, the FAR report, whatever, they learned that what this company had done was that anyone who had attended, allegedly, I don't know, this is what the news report said, anyone who attended that event, the funeral event that took place in Arizona for Charlie Kirk, had something done to their phone. They were now pinged or put on the list, put on this program. Like, none of this existed for these people until they were physically in this location. So I don't know the technology behind this, but from what I understood, that something was quote unquote put on their phones without their knowledge, without their permission, etc. And immediately after I heard what it was doing, because then allegedly those devices, if they were, then quote unquote associated with attending these churches, allegedly, this is what was all originally in the reports, that then they were going to be fed pro-Zionist messages before, during, even, and after their attendance of these church services. But if it's capable of doing that, what else is it capable of doing? Remember 2020, Hesher, when they had this whole, we were like going back and forth about this little special feature that, oh, how the hell did this show up on my phone now? Contact tracing. What does that mean? Remember all that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wasn't that? So my mind starts going wild when I think about these things. And I know I'm just a nutty conspiracy theorist with a bunch of tinfoil on his head, as you can clearly tell. But, I'm like, what could they be doing? How could they be infecting people's devices in one way? What else could they do? Could one device has been infect another person's device? If somebody who attended that came by me, would it infect my phone like a zombie or a parasite or a poltergeist or whatever? I can't even freaking imagine the analogy in this particular particular instance. You know what I mean? It's like possession. It's like a demon possession of some sort. And it's very interesting that this is
Scanners.
okay, there you go. But here's what really, really creeps me out, just to put a final bow on this one real quick, is that is Stingray. It's this Stingray technology. And I know, what does that remind? Like some people, they think of like the fish thing swimming around, right? I think of a scorpion, right? It's got that tail that stings, right? Okay. And that always reminds me of there's this association of something I learned from the Bill Cooper Mystery Babylon stuff, something called the Judas Kiss. And it's all like this esoteric related thing, but you dig deep enough in there, and it's a reference to Judas Iscariot, who of course was the person who betrayed Jesus Christ. And not only that, if you dig deep enough into the Bible and do some interesting research, it's out there online, you might discover that there's a strong possibility that Judas Iscariot was not only possessed, but he may have been one of only 2 people ever on the history of the planet to have been possessed literally by the devil himself. So I just find all of these things fascinating and interesting, especially on a day like this, Hesher.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, this has been great discussion content tonight. And what about the carriers? Just to get back to the technical aspect of it for a second, like that was what I was talking about the FCC. Like if you're planting stingrays around a fenced location, you are interrupting Verizon, T-Mobile, I don't know, whatever corporate, data provider has towers in the area. Is that truly legal? Are they in on that too? Are they made aware that, hey, this corporation from California that has this fork-tongued sort of satanic name that sounds religious wants to intercept all the cell signals in this 2-mile square, 5-mile square? Is that cool with you guys? Or hey, we're doing that on this date? Or do they just go out and do it and Verizon and all those guys don't notice? I mean, how the hell does that actually happen technically without like you know what I mean? Is there back doors? Is someone able to do that on their own? I mean, that's what I keep coming back to. It's like, how does a LLC have the ability to? And by the way, stingrays are not like the kind of thing you order on Amazon. It's a controlled device, okay, and it's a big time. I don't have the penal code numbers in front of me, but I'll eat my shoe if there's not penal code and FCC code about the use of these devices. And I don't think you can just go roll out and use them. I mean, I've used one before. In a experimental situation to use to connect a computer to a satellite and a couple other things. So, I know
Dude,
they're
I
out
have
there.
like I have an old calculator from like the 1980s. Okay, like pretty much find any like electrical device. It doesn't, I mean, even doesn't have to be this new fancy digital stuff, but I mean, you flip it over and you look on the back, you're like, huh, what's this weird symbol here on the back and this fine print here? FCC. What does the FCC have to do with my calculator? I swear it's on my calculator.
Yeah, your old
It's on,
Texas
it's
Instrument,
like
right?
everything. No, just a regular standard. Remember those little solar cell powered calculators? I've had this.
Yeah.
This was my dad's calculator. I had this thing since I was a kid in the 80s. It was probably
Well,
even older
I
than
had
that.
several TIs and they all had it too.
Yeah, but anything. I bet you these like the e-cigarettes or whatever that people vape on or whatever. I don't know what this is. I'm sure it's tobacco. All of these things come with these warnings about the whether or not it's able to interfere with the FCC, and they have this code rule and like USC code section blah 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 blah. Where is this company's USC
Right?
code blah 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 blah? I don't think there is one. Yeah.
Ham operators know what he's talking about. You want to get a ham radio? Okay, you can use it to listen and you can use it to do a few outbound things if you understand what you can do without a broadcast license. But you can end up with the cops coming to your door for just using a ham radio inappropriately without the right licenses and all that. So yeah, I'm pretty damn sure same goes for high technology stingrays because they can be used for a lot of things other than just pumping advertisements and propaganda at you. They can be used to intercept communications. They can be targeted to single devices. They can be used, like Ruckus was saying, to install malware and spyware on devices. They're all, I mean, we would have to do a bit of investigative journalism and IT management research to find out all the crazy things that can be done with geofencing and with Stingrays making geofences and other devices. They probably have newer, better ones than Stingrays at this point. I'm going on 15-year-old technology right now when I'm talking about this.
And they might be able to gaslight you too. Just saying.
Yeah. Just don't take their beepers. And also, I'm getting word from some of our listeners here. Shout out Creative Accidents. This is happening in other places too. It's not just those states I mentioned. Texas to be included. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. Maybe take a Faraday bag for your phone when you go to church or go to Christian college. All right, just an idea.
See, and then maybe those Stingray things are trying to beam messages into your head. If you're, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, unplug your Neuralink before you go to any of these locations.
Oh my God, man. Yeah. See, I mean, just as like, if this is how it is now, imagine when you are the device. And what was RFK Jr. pushing? He's like, oh, I got great news, everybody. And we're like, oh, he's going to end the thing. No, wait, he wants everybody. I want everybody wearing wearables by the year 2029 or 2030. Oh, of course you do. Great.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. Does anyone in the audience do you want to write in the chat? Want to answer our question, what happened when the lights went out? Okay, if you have a beloved internet place that has been lost to the ghosts, ghouls, goblins, poltergeists, and zombies of the modern internet, drop us a message in the comments. And while you think about that, because I'm interested to see if anyone else, we didn't get very far into Napster, LimeWire, DC++, all the old cool peer-to-peer audio sharing
You
ones.
didn't ask me about that one because
Yeah,
I was
Ruckus,
thinking.
what about you? You answer that one while everyone else.
I remember Pirate Bay.
Pirate Bay, yeah.
And this whole concept that was wild to me. It just blew my effing mind. The BitTorrents and all the torrent. What's a torrent? And kids, this might sound like, oh, I know what you mean now, but I mean, like, but this was like amazing alien technology. Like, wow, I never had a clue. It was basically what I consider now the foundation for blockchain technology. But people would do this peer-to-peer file sharing concept of this idea is that it's a little, this guy's got it on his computer, this guy's got it, this gal, and all these different people have it on their individual computers. And since it's illegal to just take the entire file, right, that would be stealing. But apparently it was not illegal to take just a little tiny piece from this guy and a little tiny piece from this lady and a little piece from this guy here until, oh shit, look, I had all the pieces and now I have a full song. Bingo. But it took it took days sometimes, Hesher, just to get one song.
I had some super rare ones. I had some rare ones in my queue that literally lived there for like a year and a half and never came through.
Yeah, because you would have to wait because maybe it was a popular song, maybe like 200 people had it on their computer, and you'd be like, yeah, you get it in a couple days or whatever. But like, yeah, you're like, you check back on one like 3 weeks later and you're like, oh shit, now I'm 4%. Come on. And then like a year later, finally you got the damn thing. It's crazy. But then like you guys were also talking about the MP3s and the CDs. The life changer involved with all of this stuff was when you were able to actually put MP3 files on a CD, and then there were available on the market to buy in stores, retail, and CD players for your car, but boomboxes, disc readers that would read MP3 files off your discs, because otherwise that was only useful to you to store all those files and to listen to it on your CD player on your computer. Or what we did was we would listen to the music on our Xbox. So we would put all the MP3 music files on the disc or whatever it was, because the Xbox would play CDs, but it inherently was able to read MP3 files. And I don't think there was a lot of things out there at the time that could do that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was a freaking game changer, man. That was such a game changer. I mean, somewhere in the garage, I still have a CD book of my first batch of CDR, like, basically mixtapes that I had made. And I was able to make custom, like, for example, I made a Cannibal Corpse best of CD, and then I made a Cannibal Corpse anthology CD. So between those two CDs, I was able to have like all my favorite Cannibal Corpse songs in order from, birth to death. They're still around, but it's appropriate. And then I also had like my favorite ones in a custom order that didn't make that one. And those things were just in my car all the time. I would do Florida death metal mix, Swedish death metal mix, Bay Area thrash metal, East Coast thrash metal. I've got a whole book of these things over there. And I can't tell you how much like youthful OCD and passion I was able to pour into that, rather than having idle hands and being a hooligan, which, I was able to just do that at night and then do this kind of stuff all day. Well, of course, I was going to college too, and riding skateboards and doing things other than what you kids do now and what we all do now with the stupid doom scroll. But, it is what it is. But yeah, that was
the
awesome,
analog.
man.
That was the analog life, Hesher. Those days are long gone, dead and
Yeah.
buried. Yet here we
Yeah.
are trying to attempt to resurrect them on a boiler room.
So they're dead and
The
unburied. Dead
I
unburied.
have all of mine still. You remember those big clear? Sometimes you could buy the CDs in bulk, and it would come in like this big clear,
Oh
like
yeah,
plastic
I have
thing, and it's
tons
got
of
like
those.
this, like a toilet paper holder roll thing, and you would put all the CDs on there. I mean, it would take like you'd have to like take forever to get them out or whatever, right? But
Oh
I still
yeah,
have mine, so I have like
me
it's like
too.
100 CDs, and they all have like MP3 files and shit on
Yeah,
them. I still
I
have
have
them.
I have several that are software. They're all software from those days, like the 90s and 2000s, and I have multiple reams of those that are, you know, just like you said, just all MP3s and stuff. Look at this. On my desk right here, actually, wrong one. On my desk right here, I have a audio cassette. Check that out. It's green, so it looks see-through. It looks kind of cool see-through, actually. That's Pax Mortis Fear 92 demo. Boom. Just sitting there on my desk, man. That's just happened to be sitting there tonight. Because I'm trying to bring these analog ghosts back,
How would you listen to that? Do you have a tape player?
I do in a shopping cart somewhere, and they make cool ones these days. These little tiny like Walkman hybrid thingies that can plug into a larger system for like cheap
But
China
they don't
money.
have thrift stores out here, my dude.
Oh, I don't want someone's used up player
Are you
heads.
kidding? Okay,
Yeah.
now, okay, listen, no, man, that's like an antique, classic, collectible, retro item. That in that case, it's totally cool, man.
Well, that you'd be surprised. The ones that are still of high quality are very expensive. The vintage ones that are not crappy are quite expensive. It's actually kind of shocking. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I loved this app called DC Plus Plus. If Shredder's listening, he'll know what I'm talking about, and Fjord too. If Fjord's listening, see, this is how we know old people on the internet. We still call them by their ICQ handles and stuff. But Shredder and Fjord and we used this thing called DC Plus Plus, and it was old school. It was peer to peer. It wasn't torrent. This was before Pirate Bay. But that thing was great, man. We got so much cool shit off that. And Audio Galaxy, I want to give a shout out to whoever created and ran Audio Galaxy. That one was I got so much cool music on that. Like, I have rarities in my digital collection to this day that are from those days. I still have not lost any of those files from Napster, LimeWire, Audio Galaxy, DC Plus Plus, Pirate Bay, or what was my other one I really liked? I liked uTorrent with the Metal Tracker. That one was fucking awesome. Like, I had just the most efficient means of getting non-copyrighted files, mind you. Of course, all legal and above board, like the rest of the people that use these apps, right? Yeah,
That's right,
actually,
ChatGPT. You didn't see nothing.
that's right. Nothing to see here. Just the ghosts of internet past, right? Just the ghosts of internet past. That's all we got going. Having a good time. This is a fun show. Let's see. Let me quick housekeeping here. Creative Accidents added this about a comment earlier tonight. We were talking about features as a service, a paid service in your automobiles. Earlier this month, Volkswagen introduced a monthly subscription to unlock the full horsepower of its ID3 electric car. So you're not happy with the 201 base horsepower? Well, you can pay 1650 pounds a month, must be UK, or 165 pounds a year. And you can bump that up to what your car actually came with, which is 228 horsepower. So good one. Thanks for that. Great example. What's this? Oh yeah, this is another good one. This one's from last year. Tourists drive SUV into the sea while following GPS directions. Yeah. There's a cool episode of The Office where Michael Scott and Dwight drive into a lake in the same circumstances. Oh, okay. We got another one here. Kind of going quickly through the links in the Discord. We've got this one as well, which goes with something we were talking about earlier tonight. Kanye West gives Kim Kardashian a birthday hologram of dead father. So that was back in 2020. That's already 5-year-old news.
Happy birthday, baby. Here's your dead daddy.
Here's your dead dad.
Definitely Halloween sound. And by the way, quick shout out to Brent Howell. I saw your message. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, Spore added that guy, the angler we were talking about earlier, had like 400 followers, and now it's almost like 8,000. I'm pretty sure that's who she's talking about there.
See, the sad news is that like the half of them are feds and the other half are bots. Probably.
Yep. Fleety added when we were talking about Hasbara bots would be working overtime on the post. There you go. There's your zombies. So you got zombies and poltergeists on that.
Those are like zombie trolls.
And ultimately, that guy got a huge following now. I mean, even some of our friends in the chat were like, how can I donate to this guy? But then when they got to the end, it was like, why does he have a MAGA thing at this point? We're confused. I get you. What else do we got? Yeah.
It's almost like those people are been hexed, put under some sort of spell.
Right. Oh, and Spore also pointed out there were some other things on that guy's page that I didn't actually get to see that were deleted. So, your mileage may vary on your analysis with this one. There's a lot of facts to be gained more, beyond what's presented there in the video and the assumptions that are made.
I will say that if that happened to me and the people showed up, and then I would probably say pretty much what that person said up to a certain point. I think I would stop before I started saying, you know what, I'm going to audit you. I'm like that. Like, well, okay, now where did that come from? There you go.
Right. And then what do? They stop on their way out and write your license plate number down, as though they didn't already have all that before they got there. Let's see. Yeah, we talked about the juice box emoji being banned from TikTok. That's freaking crazy. But it does appear to be the case. What else do we got? I'm kind of scrolling quickly here, guys. Did anybody come up with anything when the lights went out on a site that they liked? Because for me, it was the DC++ functionality, not really a site, but when the app stopped working, I was pretty bummed out. I could say MySpace, but I don't think that's actually true. I didn't really care that much at the time. Okay, let's see here. Direct Connect. Yeah, Banhammer knows. Okay, so Banhammer knows what I'm talking about. Direct Connect was the bomb. They had the juicy, like, metal demos and stuff like that was hard to find on Napster. I was on Napster too. Were you on Napster, Ruckus?
I never messed with Napster, no.
Oh, okay. All right.
Quite a number of those other ones you mentioned, and I believe DC++ as well.
Yeah, that one is top
and I was like thinking of one, and then you said it was uTorrent. I was like,
yeah.
I use that one a lot, actually.
Yeah. I think that's what the pirates out there still use. I don't know. I think there's like many versions of that. So a lot of people on Linux probably using some derivative of that or whatever. I don't know. I find the whole There is a resurgence in it. I've noticed there's been a resurgence. People are starting to get fed up with the cost of streaming services, and there's a resurgence in jailbreaking like Fire Sticks and using some of these sites to, view some of the publicly available files that are up there. If you get my drift.
You mentioned poltergeist, right?
Oh yeah.
What is a poltergeist again?
A poltergeist is a spirit or a metaphysical entity that can affect things in real life. So they can knock stuff over, they can grab you by the throat, they can drag you down the hall. So it's a particularly nasty kind of metaphysical demonic entity. And that, was actually why I used that word when we were talking about this case as one of them, because the AI is like the poltergeist, right? It's a demon that comes out and then can, affect someone else to come affect this guy's day.
Well, there's that, but that's more like an influential kind of like that possession scenario.
Mhm.
The technology itself, the foundation of all of the stuff, the Wi-Fi, the 5G, the 6G, the goop, the EMF, all of this magnetic, the noise and all the crap and the blue lights and all the stuff, right? Okay, the flashing lights, the LED light bulbs, like literally every single piece of it.
The animated clown doll.
Yeah, these right? Your Tamagotchi. These things are consistently physically harming us as if they were like a poltergeist, right? They are able to physically strike out and cause physical harm.
Mhm, yep.
I quite often feel ill when I'm exposed to too much of all of these frequencies and the certain lightings and the flashings and the patterns. And some people have like freaking full on seizures,
Oh yeah.
And you want to see something that looks like a demon possession in real life. I'll tell you what, just watch somebody go through one of those, right? A particular type, of course. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm ultimately concerned that at the end of the day, our technology can be weaponized against us. I've seen some reports that are pretty damning, top secret released, whatever they call that, like when it's unclassified. There we go. Documents from military experiments and stuff from way back in the day about electromagnetic frequencies and what they are capable of doing to the body. And I've heard some interesting stuff about what they're capable of doing with like the LED lighting, right? That you can send communications. I've seen some recently very interesting reports about what they're able to do with your Wi-Fi. Like they can quite literally see inside your house and see you moving around as if it was something out of what was that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, a racer, or
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And they could see inside so wild stuff. And I'm like, but what is all of that doing to us physically? And at the end of the day, who or what is pulling the strings? Who is in control? If it really is a dead internet, isn't it ultimately at the end of the day a ghost that's doing all this to us? Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that's probably a great place to leave it. Those are great rhetorical questions for us to all reflect on. Ruckustein, saved rounds,
I
final
forgot I
thoughts.
did that ruckus scene. If you all happen to use the dreaded Facebook, I highly encourage you to go to my profile, which is ac.ruckus. Go to my photo section. I have a little special photo album that I put together, 13 hand-picked creations that hit the cutting room floor or pieces that I was using for various boiler room, ACR related projects and things that I do on X and whatnot. But they're very frightening looking imagery, perfect for the holiday. And there's some really neat, fun, cheeky explanations in there as to, describing the image as well as its use case. By the way, Hesher, this one, you've not seen the light of day. This was originally created for one of your mixtapes, Hessian Session. I never used it. Nobody's ever seen it until now.
Nice. I love
So
it.
there you go. Halloween is loud. These guys play bad to the bone. And then this one hit the cutting room floor too. Speaking of mixtapes, this was one of mine. I do have a new Halloween mix out there called Don't Fear the Ruckus Volume 3. But this one was the original one I made for Volume 2. And I made it and I posted it on the website, but I was looking at it and I'm like, man, that makes me feel squeamish. And if it makes me feel squeamish, it might be a little too graphic for Ruckus. So again, that one hit the floor, but I've resurrected it for you all. So yeah, just go to my Facebook and you can see all those, read all that fun stuff if you're into that. It was a fun little creative exercise I did as a test, and just to have fun, throw out a treat for everybody for Halloween. In addition to doing this, speaking of doing this, right before I did this, I did something with Sam Chaney on Weaponized News. So shout out to Weaponized News. I do Weaponized News once a week, usually. It's either on a Wednesday or Friday, depending on how I'm feeling or what's going on. But you'll definitely find me there at least once a week. And in case you missed it, just go to the website, alternatecurrentradio.com, right, Hesher? And that's where you find the Roundabout Ruckus. And you know, you like these graphics. You should see the graphics I do for my own show. Wowza, right? Anyways, this has been a blast. Thank you so much for having me, Hesher. I don't really have any other saved rounds other than there is something very important coming up around the corner. And no, I'm not talking about the fact that Civil War starts tomorrow at 3:33 p.m. once all the SNAP
World War
benefits are run out.
EBT, World War Snap.
World War EBT? No, it's the 5th of November coming up around the corner, and that is the anniversary, the date that they murdered one William Milton Cooper, Bill Cooper. And I so desperately want to create a Ruckus special thing, a daily Ruckus in honor of that. I've been trying to do so for probably 6 or 7 years or more. So hopefully I'll get that done. If not, there's always next year, right? I think there's always going to be a next year, at least up until the year 2030, my friend.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. All right, Ruckus. Well, it's been great. Thanks for joining us on this Halloween night, and we'll send you out with some spooky sounds. There he goes. All right, do us a favor, like the stream if you haven't yet. We appreciate that. Leave some comments. We love to see the comments. There's a few in there I wasn't able to address. I will go read them after and see if see what we can do. And I want to thank everybody in the various chats, the Discords, everybody that shared the stream. We really appreciate that. I got Tumblr. I got a shout from Creative Accidents there when the lights went out at Tumblr. Yeah, it's not real. The lights aren't totally out though, right? It's still there. It's a little bit of a ghost town, but you know, spooky over there at Tumblr. There's all those ones I never used really either, like Snapchat. Is that still out there? Is that a ghost town? I don't know. So why does it all matter? And what comes next? What do we lose when these old formats vanish? What about the forums? We have this loss of timelines and things that are threaded. We may be looking at the loss of discovery, right? Like if AI can help me rewire my stereo in 3 minutes and save me 3 hours of work, that's awesome. But on the other hand, there was that sense of self-accomplishment, sifting through the internet manually to make it work, right? Still feels good when it works in 3 minutes. But, and then there's the loss of anonymity and genuine weirdness, right? There was the weirdest you could be when you were anonymous, right? But now everybody has to be on video if they want any attention. So some of these ghosts, maybe we can carry them forward, like Mark was talking about. It's one of the good functions of nostalgia, I guess, because you look for things like that, hopefully, that we've talked about tonight, internet nostalgia, media nostalgia, that kind of stuff. And then you got to ask yourself, well, what are the potentials for new hauntings? Because it is Halloween. Well, we've got AI agents popping up everywhere, taking people's jobs, pretending they're dead people, hallucinating, generative ghosts, if you will, right? people creating AI alternatives and afterlives and twins and doubles. I don't know. I don't know. This is a new adventure. Do you think we will reclaim that sense of wandering the web? Or is that era gone forever? I really liked wandering the web. I really did. But now it's like I get on the web and it's just like falling down the rabbit hole, trying to make sure I shut off as many notifications as possible if I'm trying to get something done, that kind of thing. Didn't used to be that way. Wandering the web, is it gone? I don't know. I don't know, my friend. But as we there they are. You hear that? You hear that? That's the ghost of internet past summoning us. Yeah. Yeah. Or is this the ghost of internet past? Yes. All right. Well, we have summoned the ghosts, the old forums, the dead threads, the machines that whisper to us, and now we leave them to their echoes here in the boiler room. You guys should visit one of our old, I don't know, go to one of your old favorite community archive message boards or something like that and post a memory or something like that. And hey, if the machine remembers us, who remembers the places we built? All right. Think about that, would you? And we'll see you again for another Boiler Room real soon here at Alternate Current Radio. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and have a great weekend, all that good stuff. And we'll see you again for another episode of Boiler Room real soon. No, not that one. This one.
That's it. Go ahead and run.